No swearing.
No cursing. No cursing.
No swearing.
No
We just started. Stop swearing.
cursing.
Hey, you. Stop swearing. Is it 30 seconds yet?
I don't know. Check.
36. I don't know. Can't tell.
I can't
see.
I can't see. I don't have my glasses on. Okay, I set this there. Technical issues done. Hopefully we're good.
First, it's this thing, and then now it's this.
Yeah, it's everything.
It's Chinese, man.
It's the Chinese.
They're getting mad because we're taking down TikTok.
So yeah, about that.
Yeah.
So Trump was one of the people spearheading to ban it originally back in like 2022, 23, around there, I think. And then all of a sudden, both him and Biden towards the transition period are both like, no, we actually can't ban this. We shouldn't ban this. This is a freedom of speech platform where everyone can share their opinions. It's definitely not Chinese spyware on literally every American's device.
That doesn't make any sense to me. That's I'm a little suspicious of that.
So yeah, the argument being that no, it's an American company.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's owned by foreign adversaries, and written into their government doctrine is that if you are in China, you are beholden to the CCP. You will have an officer, if your company gets big enough in this in China, you will have a CCP officer as part of your company.
Yeah, they're in there with them. Yeah.
And yeah, there's nothing stopping the guy who's in charge of it all to going to their server database whenever the CCP asks him, and then going and pulling up specific data and then just sending it to China on a secure channel. There's nothing stopping them from doing that. To be fair, there's nothing stopping the United States from spying on us the same way. But you see, I'd rather have home spying because at least we share some kind of interest together.
Yeah.
Right? But whereas China, And there's also no recourse with China because we can FOIA request American companies here. You try to FOIA request a Chinese company, good luck. They don't care.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's not happen.
Yeah, it's man, I don't understand that.
Yeah,
I thought okay, one was that TikTok was a Chinese thing. That's why I never put it on my phone. Mm-hmm. I don't put Facebook on my phone either.
That's the thing, though, is that similar to Facebook, because Facebook was doing this way before TikTok.
Right.
You know what a shadow profile is?
Oh, God.
You mean like phishing? Yeah.
No, it's not phishing. So essentially, you've never touched Facebook. For sake of this hypothetical, you've never touched Facebook. You never made an account. You never made anything like that. You have 2 or 3 people in your contacts who have you saved on their phone who sign up for Facebook. They then sync their contacts with Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook now creates a shadow profile of you because you showed up in their contacts as this person on all 3 of them. So they then create a shadow profile that starts gathering data on you.
Whoa, what
TikTok
the hell?
does a similar thing, except for what it does is it, in their terms of service, it says this is okay too. But when you install it on your phone, you're giving them access to everything.
Yeah, that's the reason why I never put it on the phone.
And everything does not just mean to that device. It means to other devices. Wi-Fi connections you make, it'll send JavaScript, it'll send a keylogger.
What the fuck,
right?
Man?
That's why when the Supreme Court had this bill, none of them, including the crazy liberals, said, yeah, no, we're going to reject this. They all approved it. They said, yes, the ban's going to go through. And then that's when Biden and Trump were both like, no, actually, no, we're going to put a moratorium. We're going to put a stay on that order. And all of it was that they had to divest. It had to be an American-owned company, which even then, I still wouldn't use it.
I don't understand how. So it's part of the Chinese government.
All
Is
companies.
that us? Yeah. Is that us? Basically, the American TikTok version becomes American property, and
That's what they want. They want it to be at least 50% owned by the United States, which
50% American, 50% Chinese.
I think it's 50% American, and then beyond that, it's
Whoever.
yeah. But it would be majority CCP in that other chunk, I would imagine.
Because when I started hearing about this, I thought maybe that it was competition that were trying to mimic TikTok.
Yeah.
That it was them basically had nothing to do with it being Chinese. That was a true fact about it. But they said, that's really competition. We kind of want to kick them out, that kind of thing.
The biggest thing with the copycats, they all copied the format, the shorts with YouTube, the reels with Instagram, but they didn't copy the growth encouragement, whatever TikTok.
Yeah.
It tells you exactly what you need to do to go viral, whereas Instagram and YouTube still keep that shit under wraps, super secret.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just never, when I hear YouTubers like talk about, I did what would make it viral, it's like, then I don't fucking want to talk. I don't want to
That's
see
when you get nuisance streamers, and that's where it's
Right.
5th generational warfare, where China is using this to get people to act like degenerates in public
Right.
and record themselves doing it. They're already compromising themselves, where they're not really the targets.
Yeah.
And I think it was Jimmy Kimmel did a segment on this where it was like actually one time where I was like, okay, actually you're making a point. You're making a good point. And I'm going to try to look for it while I'm editing, but I couldn't find it when I was looking for it to show him, which it drive me nuts. But I know it wasn't AI or anything. I did see it. But it essentially, say you're a nuclear physicist, you work in the United States, and you've had TikTok, or you did when you were a kid. You did some dumb shit on it. Same with people who like Twitter back in the day when that first started. You could dig up old tweets on pretty much anybody. Yeah. But the idea being is that one day you're going to get approached at your job or outside of your job, and some guy from the CCP is going to be like, hey, we have this video here, this bad tweet here. Yeah. You're going to take this USB stick and you're going to stick it into the centrifuge. Here you go.
Yeah, fuck you.
And if you don't, all this is going to your wife or public.
Yeah. You gotta not be embarrassed of what they find on you.
It is Epstein on the most grandest of scales.
Yeah, it's worse than that. Yeah.
Epstein and Diddy combined 100x. That's a lot of baby oil. Something funny. This is dead serious here, man.
Can you run a engine on that baby oil?
Yeah, can you?
Like a diesel, half diesel, half baby oil.
Yeah,
chicken grease.
The crazy thing with why I think Trump did such an about face on it, though, I think he worked some kind of back end deal because I forget the exact shell company, but they're a huge owner of the meme coins for Melania and the Trump coin.
Wait, there's a Melania coin too?
Yes, I know.
My brother was telling me that he said there's like 800,000 coins and shit coins now.
Yeah, majority of them worthless. This Trump one, it's already going to have some inherent value just based on the hype around it, which is scary.
But it's not gonna go anywhere. It's just
the thing though is he could be rug pulling the Chinese with this, which would be really funny. If their coins are locked in, and then he's just like, all right, everybody, dump this shit.
Yeah,
that would be funny.
You just get like a random tweet.
Dump on China.
So today we're one day into the new.
Yep.
God Emperor.
As of recording,
God Emperor
Trump is officially president again.
Yeah,
he survived the inauguration. Let's hope he survives the next 4 years.
I know. I think there's enough people in his cabinet and part of the 10,000 that he hires that there's a good, we definitely have a better cachet of people with his administration now.
It seems like Trump is listening too, because Vivek the Snake is no longer a part of Doge.
Yes, I heard. Yeah, I heard about that.
He stepped down because he's running for governor. I think some people on the back end told him, "No,
you're out."
It's like you're done. So,
by the way, why would you introduce yourself as like that?
It's because everyone would pronounce his name wrong. Vivek Ramaswamy.
What?
Yes, he's a bad guy now.
Oh, what happened?
So when the whole HB1 debate came about with Elon, and then he learned he's kind of on the wrong side of that.
Yep.
And he went like the meme, make fun of everything route, and then ban a bunch of the groypers, take away everyone's blue checks, all that. Vivek was also a part of that, except for he seemed to be more so gung-ho on the whole like...
Part of the Indian mafia,
yeah, in-group preference, which not a bad thing. It's bad when you try saying that, no, I'm going to come in your country and you all need to listen to me now.
No.
And
But he's an American citizen. He's born here, but his parents are first generation. He's first generation.
That is right.
But I like the guy, but as far as when it came to that, I was like...
He basically was saying that if you had a good childhood and you were like, you didn't have to work at like 40-hour weeks as a young child, and then you're not a complete work slave as you grow older, then you are lesser than.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look,
he's saying we need more movies like Whiplash and less celebrating like the jocks and the cheerleaders. And it's the most nerdy soapbox ever.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
Okay, get out of here.
I don't know, man. So he's gone?
Yeah, but he reeled me in at first when he was talking about service guarantee citizenship type stuff, where it was like you had to have some kind of civic duty to vote, which I'm still on board with that.
Starship Troopers, yes.
The fact that he was saying that like, but we still need to replace every American with like HB1 recipients.
No, fuck you.
Yeah,
no, we're not doing that.
That is not. That's abusing legal immigration. He seems to be of the team where it's like immigration, mass immigration, good when it's legal, and I'm like, no, mass immigration always bad. Limited legal immigration, great.
Yeah, because the whole problem with that is replacing a demographics. That's the bet. Look, man, look at India. Look how filthy that place is.
Import the third world, you get the third world.
Exactly. You don't fucking. I understand taking the best. Yes, like fuck you. You take the best. We're a magnet. Our country, our nation is a magnet for talent, but it should be legal immigration and slow down, man. We can't be replacing our demographics like that. People think it's racist, but no, man. The fact is, it's in our American DNA basically that it's not only is it about race, about the West, it's European descent, basically the majority of it, but it's also the idea. There's an ideology behind it it's an American idea.
I used to be like 100% like America is just the idea itself, but now I'm more so
it's
where it's
about
like, no.
It's what your background DNA is. It's the truth, man. Because, like for example, like African Americans being here, like they are definitely like they're a part of it now. Mm-hmm. They're if you've been here for a good couple of generations, you're part of it now. You've become Americanized. You've adapted. Because I think the thing is like, it'd be nice to not care what your background race is. But when I see Vivek and I hear the H1, all those Indians, dude, they're straight up racist. They want only their own people coming in.
In-group preference.
Then that's racist. It's on their side.
Is the acronym is awful, but it's like affluent white female liberals. They have the most out-group preference out of anybody.
Who gives a fuck what a woman says? That's the first thing I say.
They're in positions of power right now.
That's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
Like, see, but it goes back to that nurture female. No, let them all come in. Bring in all the cats.
In evolutionary biology, it's very common that you'll see men tend to organize meritocratically, where women will be more like socialistic, where it's like everybody gets one, everybody gets some.
Yeah, and that's great, but in small doses, not fucking nationwide. That's fucking where it goes wrong. Yeah. What the fuck? Are you fucking yawning? Are you fucking serious?
Get the fuck over it.
You fucking
It's just a
serious?
yawn.
They're
What's wrong with
contagious.
it?
You're gonna
You wanna
make
take
me
a nap?
yawn.
Yeah, I can take it.
But I don't know. That's a pretty long intro there.
Pretty impressive. Just go to sleep.
So, you want to get into your segment there after the whole dumping on Vivek? Shout out Sam Hyde. I gotta just that shirt. Yep, I can't.
Hey!
I get funny looks when I wear this at Walmart.
No, what do you call it? I like it when every time they say we've identified the shooter, and it's always that.
It's always yep.
It's always that picture.
Samuel Hyde.
You want some coffee?
You got some coffee?
No. You want another Dr. Pepper?
Nah, that ain't gonna work.
Did you get any sleep? Is that what's going
I
on?
did. I did get some sleep. It's good, dude. Like, I somewhat fixed my sleep schedule, and it's getting closer and closer for me to go to bed. So,
You go to bed when the sun goes down?
around like 10.
Are you serious?
I fixed it to the point where I can
that's
do that.
good.
That is actually magical. I never thought I'd see the day.
Dude, like,
I won't see the day.
it's I mean, like the latest I go until I hit the sack is 12. That is the
Really?
latest.
That's what you call it.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, that's the latest.
hitting the sack.
Like one time, shut up. Hitting the hay, hitting the sack doesn't matter. When I was here the other day, when I got home, I didn't get to bed until like 3,
Oh, that's bad.
and then I woke up and I was still fine.
Dude, man, I wish I could go to sleep at that time. I don't go to bed till like 5 in the morning.
Well, you need to fix your sleep. Well, I mean, you open up
As long as you keep it. If you keep it consistent. If you keep it consistent, then it's not an issue. It's more when you go flipping your circadian rhythm. Like,
Yeah.
Because I was doing that where I was working like a really bad shift where I just wake up at like 3 a.m. and then.
You want anything? You want something to eat? You want?
There's
That's what it is. You're taking a food coma nap. That's what's happening.
that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's what's happening right now.
Probably. I mean, I could probably just down this right quick.
If I see you yawn again, I was like, say something so you can get in the
well,
conversation.
if that happens, I'll just hit my head against it.
Put a nice hole.
No, dude, it sucks that if I could wake up at noon, that's perfect. Mm-hmm. But see, I got 5 hours to fucking do things, which is good.
I see. Well, you
Yeah.
got to have a reason to wake up in the morning, and a lot of people it helps if they have a routine.
That sounds like
No, like
depression.
I mean, not that because you have a reason, obviously,
Gotta
to
have a
get
reason
up.
to
But it's
live.
like if you don't have a reason to get up at a certain time, you'll probably
Yeah.
end up sleeping in all the time, and that I'm.
I don't want.
that.
Yeah, I'm tired of that.
I can tell you, it is not fun.
No, it's not. When you sleep too much, it's not.
The flipping your circadian rhythm is bad because I did that. I'd wake up at 3, work a 12-hour shift, and then get off and go to bed at like 8.
Oh my god!
And then what I would do as soon as the shifts were over, because there's like 3 days on and then 4 days off, I would flip my schedule back, and I'd end up being like staying up till like 2 a.m.
Oh my god!
And then not waking up until like noon or 1. It was really bad.
When I worked I'll just say this for later. You need to do your segment.
Oh no, I'm just look, man. Whatever comes up, comes up.
You don't
tell me what to do.
This is how it works. We say something at the beginning, and then we go to your segment, and then whatever happens afterwards is just fucking bullshit.
Sorry.
I don't think it has to be set in concrete. I mean,
I know, but that's
we're just
kinda,
vibing.
This is kind of how we.
Why you get so mad?
We started this like what?
Game. Why you have to be
We started doing that like what? Fucking episode 2 or episode 3?
Man, this is all just fucking winging it, man. What are you talking?
We're
just winging this.
Okay, you know what? I'll save it. Well, this is your stuff because this is the majority.
I want to bring up later what that B said. The B guy, the A guy and B guy.
You remember
discussing? I remember it was episode 4, and
was it 4? He brought up 5. No, it was 5.
That's right.
I haven't watched the Raw 5 yet.
So episode 5, he brought up the article about the skeleton thing, and then he had these 2 guys on Reddit. Was it Reddit? No,
it was Discord.
Discord talking about it. So he was funny because he said something about we'll bring it up because I thought that was like, what did I do?
Skeleton? Okay.
What did I do wrong? You know, like, what did I do wrong? Okay, so diddle-doo.
There we go. I almost hit the rim shot.
So this is episode 7, and I'm going to start where this episode is about the simiiforms, and this is picture.
It's over there now.
Monkey. So this takes place. The previous was haplorhymia. This is like repetition. Haplorhymia was before, and now we're in simiiforms. And I'm gonna because I'm so like confused in where I'm at. This is episode 7. This is the simiiforms, and previously before that was the haplorhymia. So 10.8 million years later, simiiforms developed, and usually, so we know that the simiiforms probably existed. Now, the simiiforms are pretty interesting, man. And I started thinking, like, something's going on here. So, simiiforms exist somewhere in Asia, Africa is where they're mainly at, and they evolved. In those 10.8 million years, you have simiiforms that started around 45 million BC. 45 million BC. So, simiiforms are known as anthropoids. They're known as monkeys. Monkey. And so basically I remember my niece was asking me, so you did DNA test, what are we? And I go, you're a monkey.
Just lead with that.
You're a monkey.
You're a monkey.
Okay, so these monkeys lived in Africa, Asia, and South America. They kind of spread out a little bit. So the one thing that's really interesting was the main place where they found like ancient, simiiform skeletons, or they found them in a place in Africa called Fayum, Egypt. And it is really because, remember, I talked the last episode, I talked about this British guy who wanted to find some like ox with his cool looking horns, and he didn't. He found all these damn skeletons. He found all these like monkey skeletons. Like, what is all this crap? And so in that location was like jungle. This is like near the Nile Delta, and they found like 17 species of simiiforms. There's like 17 different species of them, like different families, right? And the one thing that's interesting is what in that simiiform family. There's the Catarrhini, which is the old world monkeys, which we descend from, and then there's the Platyrrhini, which is the new world monkeys that existed. Those turned into the Platyrrhini, the new world monkeys that are in South America. Okay, and that's where they kind of occupied. So the one thing that's interesting about the simiiforms is that they have a reduced snout. Their doggy face is getting smaller, right? So they have a reduced snout. They still have a tail. Another thing is cool. They have lack of whiskers. Their whiskers go away. And so basically, there's 10.8 million years simiforms start, and these are all the things that they're losing. They're losing the whiskers, and they also, remember how you look at a cat or a dog, they have like little titties, like 6 or 8 titties, right?
God, I wish I were.
So for these little monkeys,
They lost their extra titties?
yes, they lost their titties, and they get to where they're 2 pectoral mammograms.
Then they got
Mammaries, right. So they have only 2 mammaries. And so that's the reason why we have boobies or 2 nipples, because in that 10 million years, we lost the other ones. The other ones went away.
I just need to get a gif of you just feeling yourself up there. That's hilarious.
We lost all our titties. And I was like, whoa. And that's why we don't have 2 nipples. And the one thing that's different also is a naked penis. We have a naked penis. That's why you don't have the.
I need you to run that by me one more time.
We have
What's a naked penis?
So you look at a dog. I know you looked at a dog.
I've stared at dog dicks way more than any human should.
So you know how their doggy dick is in a little shaft?
It looks like a little chapstick.
Yeah.
Their lipstick.
Red rocket.
It's
Right? Okay.
Red rocket.
So we don't have that.
God, I hope not.
So our penis is naked and it's pendulous.
I don't know what that means.
It means it just hangs.
Do they not usually do that?
No, your
because it sucks up
genitalia,
Yep, okay.
it just hangs.
Yep, we ain't got the turtle peepees.
And no, this is. So this is where it gets weird. They're saying here that these simiforms can see color. Now, how the fuck do you? This is what I'm gonna probably. Why are you pulling out money?
They can't see it. Don't fucking
Oh,
say
okay,
it.
sorry. Drug deal.
Drug deal.
So apparently, I think that they're looking at simiforms now, monkeys, right? And they're fucking with them by doing tests with them, right? And I think it's like, oh, these motherfuckers can see color because they haven't changed. Now, again, our brain is growing larger because by proportion of body size, our brain is bigger than any other animal.
That big-headed babies. I've heard Rolo talk about that.
Yeah. And so there's a degree of language comprehension. That's weird. And it's like, yeah, man, think about it. Because when you see monkeys looking down in a tree and they see a lion or they go, they make a noise and it's an alert.
And specific calls dictate whether there's danger or mating calls.
Yeah.
So you have to differentiate between those.
And so they have fucking language, dude. They're fucking squeaking and squawking. They have language. And remember last time the robust jaw, how the mandible, our jawbone fused, right? That happened. Mandible bone, and then of course the premolars from 3 to 2, and then you have our eyes start facing forward and become binocular, right? Because if you look at, I remember one time I was working with these fucking losers, and I said,
Fucking losers.
I said, they're predators. No, I'm a predator. They're the prey. And my girlfriend, I said, what do you mean? It goes, they have eyes like pigeons.
I'm a predator.
Their eyes are on the side because they're so scared they have to look around them. And so these are prey, and I'm the predator. And so I remember saying that joke. My eyes face forward like a predator. Their eyes are like pigeons on the side. So our eyes face forward.
So that way we get depth perception.
Depth perception, right. And what's the other cool thing that happens? Yeah, premolars go from 3 to 2. We have 2. Eyes facing forward. What the fuck are you doing? Making all this noise.
Here, I can mute you for a sec. Okay.
Now, this is another thing that's kind of interesting. They recognize their own reflection.
Yeah, doing the reflection test. They did that with AI and it saw itself, but I don't want to derail, but it was able to recognize itself.
So yeah, so when you I remember one time this recognition of their own reflection, I was like, dude, what? So I think they're testing monkeys now because I've seen a bird. I've seen a bird when I was down the valley, down in South Texas. I was outside smoking a cigarette. I was on a buddy's house, the police officer. I was hanging at his house, and I looked over, and I saw this bird, like, fighting. It's like, what is this bird fighting? And the bird was on the side mirror of a car, jumping around, hitting it, and jumping back. It was attacking its own reflection.
Yeah, I got to watch my roommate's kitten this week do that. He's like staring at his reflection, run behind the mirror, and try to figure out where it was hilarious.
So would a cat figure out that its own reflection, or does it still believe it's another person?
I think he figured it out eventually.
Maybe. So apparently that's a test of it. Dolphins can do that. Obviously we can do it. Monkeys can do that. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure about dogs and cats. I'm not sure if they can do that. Parrots, some birds can. I don't know. So that was interesting to kind of like, they're saying that this is a time when, okay, where would you see your reflection? In the water? Like, whoa, what was that? And you realize like, oh, that's me.
Yeah, in still water, yeah.
Yeah. And another thing, another one is awareness of mortality. Like when they die. So
I think everything's got a sense of that, because then otherwise you wouldn't have the survival instinct.
Yeah. I think so, yeah, because there's elephants have it, definitely.
Yeah, they're way more intelligent than we give them credit for. Yeah.
And then monkeys. So the only thing I can think of, they're saying all these things about simiforms, that all these things might have developed in that 10 million years later. So this is around 45 million BC, when we were these creatures at that time in North Africa, basically in Africa, in that jungle, living in the trees still. And so I think that this point on Earth is pretty interesting. Like, this is the first inkling of possible intelligent life a million years later. That's us right there. Now that was just wild. And so these are the simiforms. I'll show a map at a delta where the jungle was at, where they found these 17 species. Then I'll show a picture of what we looked like back then, maybe there. And then I'll show the Earth. I'll show a picture of the Earth.
No, I won't show the Earth.
Oh, I'll show the Earth.
Oh, damn it! It showed the Earth.
And then kind of like showed like what during that time. And yeah, so this is the simiforms. This is when we were in this. Now again, after the simiforms, 11.2 million years later, these simiforms formed into the Catarrhini and the Platyrrhini, right? And so those are the New World monkeys and then Old World monkeys. And so the Catarrhini, those are the ones who were in that North Africa area, developed into the Catarrhini, which we are. And the other thing, too, you notice that South America and Africa are closer together. There's a possibility, because the one thing that we mentioned in the last video, I said that they don't know how these New World monkeys got to South America. So the only way they think they might have gotten there was maybe hurricanes or storms, whatever, the big masses of logs that are going to South America, because there's no trace of New World monkeys before 27 million years ago. There's nothing. And all of a sudden, they're there. So that happened right when the simiforms are in Africa and floating over to South America, and then those turned into the Platyrrhini, because they're still the same family, right? Simiforms. They turned into the Platyrrhini, the New World monkeys, and then we in Africa developed into the Catarrhini, which is the New World, the Old World monkeys. So this is again between simiforms started around 45 million BC, and then about 11.2 million years later, they split into different groups. And then our group is in Africa still, you know. So that's kind of a history of where we're at now. But yeah, I was just again like taken back by the idea that seeing color, language, squeaking and squawking, recognizing our reflection, and awareness of mortality. And I thought that was like, man, that's really interesting. That's when it really. This is where, like, the whole idea of the U primates was similarity. What looks similar to what we are, and now it's recognition of similarity. Now they're like, oh my god, so this is really happening. So yeah, the idea of like language has probably been around for fucking hundreds, like millions of years, tens of millions of years. Language has been around, squeaking and squawking, and you can hear, like, even dude, my own dog. When I have her outside, the way she barks, I can tell she's calling me. She does this bark. She just like, I hear that. Like this, way she says it.
See if you can get a recording of that, and I'll put it in.
Yes, yeah, I'll see if I can get her. But it'd be kind of hard to get her to bark, because she doesn't bark.
No worries if you don't, but if you do.
But I can tell, oh, she's calling me. And I wonder, is she saying human? She's saying shithead? What is? I have no idea what she's saying. Hey, you, I have no idea. But that's the noise I recognize, and I look out the window. She is looking at me like, "Let me in," you know. And so yeah, and that's another thing to like. It's this recognition, language. There is a language there. Dogs are definitely smart, And it's just really neat to see that in other creatures, like in cats and dogs, that there is feeling there, there is emotion there, and it's fucking beautiful. I think it's beautiful to see that with the recognition of us back then, to even now us looking at monkeys now and realizing no, they're damn. It's just fast for me. It's fascinating. I just think it's really neat. So, but imagine we get them armor and weapons. That'd be pretty badass. You know? Battle dogs. Yeah, so there you go. Diddle-oo, diddle-oo. That is the semioforms. And next I'll talk about the catarrhini next.
Well, I didn't want to derail, but something to talk about when the biomass of trees moving across the ocean. I was just thinking, like, Disney has so many things that they could do, like make an animated like movie out of that, do something original, try something original.
Wow.
And like I was just thinking they could make a whole movie out of that, just like the how they're surviving on that floating mass until they actually get there.
They're saying that's the only. They don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
But I said aliens, right? Aliens beat them up.
That could be an interesting movie.
Yeah, no, it would,
right there. It's not hard to come up with original ideas like that.
There's videos on I've seen where the guys are in a boat and they're pushing this big mass of it looks like moss, but there's trees on it, like small trees, and they're just pushing with a boat because they're trying to get away from the bridge, and they're pushing it with their boat.
Oh, okay.
I've seen that, and you could actually, if you wanted to, you could actually walk on there. It's kind of like walking on a bed. And you might slip through
like
it.
a water bed?
Yeah, it's like a water bed. You're jumping on it.
I wouldn't try walking on that. You slip under it and you can't get back up.
Yeah, you're like quicksand, yeah. But if those giant masses existed back then, there's a possibility that they went across the Atlantic, and like 2 weeks later, they're there. Mm-hmm. And like, we got, new bananas, and they fucking find new bananas. Bananas. And
yeah, it's a little bit easier for seeds and like plantation to make its way across continents, not so much animals.
Well, it's like land carried by birds.
That would be a cool Disney movie.
Yes.
And
hire me.
Yeah, and they make it to South America.
Well, they made Mel Gibson and Sylvester Stallone, that guy. They made Trump
Mr.
was appointing
Phelps.
them the ambassadors to Hollywood or something.
What's that about? I don't understand that.
I think it's similar to like the Borders are, where it's like not an official thing. It's more like a consulting gig.
Yeah.
So it's not like they can actually implement any changes.
You want to make money
without running it past the big guy first.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering about that too. What's all that about?
All right.
What you got?
Nothing.
I'm gonna start this off with two words. Fuck you. There we go.
It's directed at me. Don't worry.
No, it's not directed at him.
I'm one of the people he's saying fuck you to.
Well, maybe yes. Because
actually, yes, verifiably yes.
You talking about the game?
Yeah. So, by the way, Helldivers 2 community. I understand that Airhead does not have the capability, well, not capability, more of the willpower to give you the information that needs to be desperately in the game. But holy fucking shit, you have so many avenues to find out about how gambits work, right? Multiple avenues. Cloud Plays, Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear, multiple others, all right? Listen. That bug MO was complete and utter bullshit. All right? Instead of going for Angel's Venture, you should have stayed on Heath. It pisses me off. Don't worry, I was there too, so I'm a little bit at fault as well, but not as much as you guys. Stay on the planet where the two defense campaigns originated from, and then you will just kill two birds with one stone. Don't kill one bird with one gigantic stone. All right, this doesn't work. It would just leave Border Gore, literally 2 sectors away from Super Earth. Like, I don't understand what the issue is there. Now, I have another not a pet peeve. I have another thing to say. Arrowhead, what the fuck? What is wrong with the DSS? So this is for some time it was down. I get it. You were trying to work on it. You were trying to fix things. My only issue is as soon as multiple Lumina evasions come up, they're not immediately on the roster to vote, and that is my issue there. Granted, you did do one good thing, and that is quite literally speed up the time to vote for a different planet. That's good. I like that. That's a good idea. But I think as soon as those planets pop right up, they need to be on the list so people can vote immediately. Granted, It's kind of hard.
Democracy.
Also, it
Democracy.
the one thing I don't understand. This is not directed at Airhead. It's just like my thoughts out on it right now. But are the Illuminate? Let me rephrase that. I am having a hard time because I'm heated right now. But
Why are you so mad?
it's just a game.
Keep going.
Why are you so mad?
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Eagle Storm works on defense campaigns. The Orbital, before and after they changed it, worked on liberation campaigns. I seen an Eagle Storm on a Illuminate held, oh not Illuminate held, on an Illuminate invaded planet, and it was about maybe an hour away. And I didn't see how the Eagle Storm could prevent that or speed up our attempts to liberate it quicker. So are these defense campaigns or are they liberation campaigns? That's all I have to, that's all I'm asking right now. I probably just being stupid and not understanding exactly to a degree how Eagle Storms work. But they're pretty, it works just fine on any other. Go ahead.
I had a question. Is this basically a private bitching to a captain?
No.
What do you like? You know what I'm saying? Like you're who do you take?
Screaming into the void?
It's basically
Really?
screaming into the void. Yeah.
But so who do you talk to about? Is it higher up echelon that's fucking the battle up?
Well, what do you mean exactly? Because Arrowhead, this is
What is Arrowhead? What
The developers.
It is the developers
Oh,
of the
okay.
game. Arrowhead makes the game. They do everything to make things work.
Yeah.
They put in patches, all that type of stuff.
you're
I'm
bitching at the developers.
Not only them, but I'm also bitching at the bug divers. I'm bitching at them.
I'm a bug diver.
diver.
So-
What's a bug diver?
All right, so
There's three factions of enemies.
Yeah.
There's the bugs, which in all the promotional stuff. For the
You want to
video
fight bugs because they're easier to fight?
Yes, but that's not the point. That's not the point. They're in all the promotional stuff. It's always the bugs they're fighting, the Tyranids.
Yeah.
So
Terminids.
close enough. Yeah. What the fuck?
I know, right?
Bugs.
I'm not the only one that fucked it up at one point.
But yeah, Terminids, the bug people.
Yeah.
They're the number one enemy. Then there's the automatons, which are the robots. So you can have your Terminator as well. So there's
Yeah.
Starship Troopers, there's Terminators, and then there's the zombie / aliens that are the Luminid. That they were recently added into the game. Well, recently, but like a few months
They
ago.
come back. Right?
Yeah,
They came. They were in the first game, but they weren't in the second when it released last year in February.
But you're not bitching about the battle strategy. You're bitching about.
I'm bitching at the people who don't understand the battle strategy. I'm bitching
Yeah,
at
okay.
them. Is because that is very technical know-how. Granted, yes, Arrowhead needs to put it in the game or somehow try to explain it. But you have multiple avenues. Like I mentioned, there's like a guy named like Cheka Fleck. Yeah, he's also one too that probably has talked about it, about the Gambit probably. I don't know. I haven't seen most of his stuff. But there is, like I said, there's multiple avenues, and I don't know if it's necessarily just like it's probably just me being a dipshit and just like being way too like invested.
But is there AARs?
What's AARs?
Like after action reviews?
Oh, no.
Like this is where we fucked up in the battle. You know, that kind of thing. Like this is what this time, or is it an AAR where you basically? I forgot. I get the abbreviations fucked up. Basically, here's the plan how we're going to kill the enemy. There's anything like that?
Nope.
There isn't.
So here,
That's what they probably need.
I can break down this succinctly real
Yeah.
quick. There are hardcore players, and then there's casual players.
Yes.
Casual players don't care to learn about all these intricacies and bullshit and all the
wanna
DDS
shoot.
and all the voting.
So is that what you're-
They don't give a shit about
Yeah,
any of that.
basically.
They launch the game because they just got off work. They want to fucking shoot some
Yeah.
bugs. They want to fucking feel like they accomplished something, and they do typically. And then they get off, and they don't care anymore.
Yeah.
He spends hours on end playing the goddamn game, trying to min max and make sure the super are safe. This is why we need guys like him. But
Strategist.
Well, okay, so
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the thing. I came off way too strong, but I think it's needed to be said. But also, I do agree if somebody does come in and be like, "Hey, shut the fuck up," you know life. I'd be like, "Yeah, I understand." But like, it's simple. I'm going to be nice now. It is a simple thing.
So how do you correct it?
Well, you tell people. That's what it is you do. You have to inform people on how it works.
You have to get more casuals to care, and that's
That
an
too.
uphill.
That
That's
too.
Sisyphus trying to push the boulder up the hill.
Yeah,
there.
basically.
You're not going to
You're
get.
hurting cats.
Play the Sisyphus meme here. But
So you're not. So you. Well, this is one way. This is one way.
it is one way, but he is right. This is practically just screaming out to the void.
Yeah.
But the thing is like I don't know. Besides like the whole like casual and hardcore, but I just don't know if I'm going to sound like a fucking elitist for saying this, but
Do it.
I don't
Go
know.
for it.
I don't know if it's the PlayStation players or it is some PC players that do not look this up. They're only invested enough to play the game.
They're not looking at the news.
They're not looking at the news. They're
Yeah.
not doing all this like I do.
I think it's. I don't think you can differentiate it by
That's the one-
console or PC because there's gonna be
knows,
an equal
yeah.
amount of people who probably don't care. On
So do they have
PlayStation
a?
as well.
Yeah.
Do they have a movie tone?
What do you
on there?
movie tone?
'Cause in World War II, they put out reels, and they would just brief everyone. This is what's happening today.
Oh yeah, actually there are mission briefings that come up.
So
like,
okay, so the different
What-
wouldn't the
what-
mission
it's
briefing?
called a major order essentially, and it's an objective.
I just
that
showed you what it looked like,
everyone
yeah.
gets, and everyone gets the reward if it's completed. But if it fails, nobody gets the reward as well.
Nobody.
And the reason we get so many major orders done is because of guys like this. The counter to
Yeah.
that, though, the counter is if everyone who played Helldivers was this guy,
Yeah.
the game would either need to get insanely harder
That's the one issue.
or I forgot where I was going with that.
it's gone.
Or it needs to get simplified, maybe.
Well, essentially we would beat everything if they didn't up the difficulty. I think that's what I was.
Oh, dude.
If we didn't up the difficulty and everybody was a hardcore player like him, we would beat back everything from
But
the
wouldn't
Galaxy
you think
Super
that
if we'd
they
say
know?
game over.
Wouldn't developers know that this is going to be?
Yeah,
You're right. They know this is
it's
going to
in
happen.
the design.
Yeah.
So,
It creates drama out of nothing. Yeah.
let me tell you something. When we still had the 170 plus people online and everything, we were doing so good. We were completing major orders. Sure, there was about maybe 3 or 4 that we failed, but most of them successes. We kept winning them, and as soon as the PSN fiasco happened, I don't know.
The Bite of 87, yeah.
Yeah, the Bite 87, and it's just oh god, it's just bothersome because those guys that were probably playing the game overseas and all that type of stuff, they were playing since day one, probably more
How
than
many-
likely
How many players were playing before the?
before the PSN fiasco.
Yeah.
So about over 100,000.
What is it now?
It lingers between 30 to 50K.
It has recovered since they
has,
added the
it
Illuminate,
has.
but they still lost a lot of people with that PSN
Half the market
bullshit.
they lost.
Yes,
Yeah.
because PSN is allergic to money. PlayStation is allergic to money.
No,
Sony's
they-
allergic
they
to money.
I think they kind of got infected with the DEI shit as well.
Why would-
Maybe they'll change that. Maybe they'll-
when they realize.
Why would DEI affect several other countries though? That's my question.
It's there. Okay, borders don't stop ideas from traveling. So
That-
bad ideas can still permeate just the same as good ideas.
yeah, that's why the world looks
But-
at us. Yeah.
In the literal, the acronym of DEI is like diversity and inclusive. No,
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
yeah, there we go. So
Fucking stupid.
the whole diversity and inclusivity thing, you just basically just shut half of
Yeah.
practically Super Earth out of doing this.
They're trying to appeal to the modern audience. The whole shebang.
But they're a minority. They're a minority of a minority.
Yeah.
my friend in Lithuania, he can't fucking play. Or was it Latvia? No, it was Latvia. My friend in Latvia, he can't fucking play.
Because he hasn't done the.
The PSN is it because PSN isn't even available in that country?
I'm
or-
assuming. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Essentially, it was for sale in a bunch of countries, and then when they put in the PSN requirements, they didn't take back those PSN requirements afterwards in those countries. So essentially, they bought a piece of software that they can't use anymore.
But I will say this. Because it needs to be said, and multiple people have talked about this already, especially Cloud Plays. One of the games made by Sony, I believe it might be single player. It might be multiplayer. I think it might be multiplayer, but the PSN restriction was removed from it. So no news
I
about
wasn't
it.
signing up for it. I actually had a refund pending until they reversed it. I'm lucky that they did reverse it before my refund went through.
Wow.
Yeah. It is a fun game.
It is a fun game. It's just like there's just like a whole lot of things that need to be fixed. But the whole that one particular Sony game that was taking off of the restrictions. What's that about? Why hasn't Sony talked about it? What's going on? Are they finally being like money? Maybe. Don't know. But that is just one particular game that we've known so far that has the PSN restriction taken off. Now, if we could do that with Ghost of Tsushima, I think God of War 2 has a restriction, which is weird. Ghost of Tsushima is not necessarily single player by itself. It does have a multiplayer function onto it. So I can see why they did that. But the thing with God of War, I could be wrong on that. But if there is a PSN restriction on God of War, that makes no fucking sense. That's the newer one.
Similar to having anti-cheat on a PvE game.
Yeah, that's one thing too, Airhead. What the fuck?
I think it leans back to the main reason why the first Destiny game was like that. Not so much the PvE aspect, but it's an anti-piracy thing. It's a lot harder to pirate something that's always online and has to check with an anti-cheat first. Like that.
Well, you can play with mods, but those aren't cheats.
If they're client side, yeah, but
yeah, because you could get somebody on on your ship. Like if it's client side, it's client side. Like you get somebody on your ship that looks like just a normal random, but then you look at their level like, what the fuck? Why is he where? I mean, don't get me wrong, the starter armor still it's busting.
It slaps.
It's busting, bro.
It's pretty.
But you just look at it and you're like, okay. All right, this guy just likes the normal starter armor. That's cool. But on his screen, he's probably a clone trooper from the 501st
Or Obama.
or Obama. I don't know about. I don't know if
Unless
they
Nexus Mods took that one down too.
probably. I don't know. But there's also you also got like.
I'm gonna turn the heat up. It's getting hot in the
go ahead.
in the silo. It's getting cold in the silo.
There you go.
It just leaches into the ground.
It just leaches. Yeah,
It's a cold water.
it's like cold water. What was I gonna? Yeah. Then you got. Do you remember that concept art that I showed a little bit ago? Like way before the whole collab thing happened. It was a Warhammer 40K inspired Helldiver armor.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Do you remember seeing that?
I don't, but I'm putting it on screen.
I could probably I could find the pictures to show you.
You better find it, otherwise I'm going to put something really weird on screen.
So I don't remember who made that. So I have to like do some digging. But there was armor like that. That's also on Nexus as well. And then you got multiple other people. The modding community for games and everything is just fucking beautiful. Especially, I don't know. Well, the dirty side is. Hey, thank you. It's just beautiful, and how everything works. Especially when you could change super destroyers into Venators from Star Wars.
Oh, that's actually really badass.
Yeah, and you can also do the same thing with the DSS with the what's it called again? It's not a moon.
The Death Star?
The Death Star, yes.
How'd you forget the Death Star?
I forgot. I'm an idiot. My dumb ass went straight to the one with the new trilogy. You know, the fucking huge
Death Star is not like any other Death Star. This one can blow up 5 planets in one go.
By the way, Neil deGrasse Tyson, he said like that would destroy more planets than that. It wouldn't just destroy a couple of them.
Yeah, you also wouldn't need to move the whole ass thing. You could just point the laser at the fucking planet and then wait the time. Because, I mean...
Yeah, but that's not how lasers work. Lasers work like a flashlight. They,
Like, turn it on, turn it off, or...
No, you point a laser, it gets weaker.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair
How the
point.
hell does it
It
focus?
has to bounce, yeah.
But that planet killer took what it inhaled the sun. And then it used that energy to expel.
Oh, yeah. So it was like a proto Dyson sphere, kind of
Like a
it's
gamma ray, like some kind of X-ray from like a pulsar.
Basically, I
think, it's super high energy burst.
Wait a minute.
What?
How does a laser go light speed?
Because it's photons.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
It's both a particle and a wave.
Wait a minute.
It got there in 1 minute. Wait a minute.
No, I solved my own question there with like, why don't they just shoot it from the Death Star and then like hit stuff from like bajillion light years away. Oh, because the laser would be moving at light speed, and the Death Star can travel faster than light speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Wait, the planet didn't that planet move to that system and then blew him up? You know, I don't really care
Yeah, I don't know about
about this
planet-
fucking Star Wars shit.
Right,
but
yeah,
I
the
think-
whole new Star Wars is like, I don't even care to debate that kind of shit because it's all
I
like,
know.
I think it probably.
It comes up every once in a while.
I think it entered another system that's neighboring,
Yeah.
and then it did that.
they pulled a Goku essentially, or a Dragon Ball, where it's like, it just got, it's the same thing, it just got more powerful. I'm making my with the Goku hair. And then the Death Star did that. It got bigger and stronger because it went,
Man.
fuck Star Wars. Dude, what's that new Star Wars show that came? I don't even remember the fucking
Oh,
name.
Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew, yeah. It's supposed to be
God,
a
it was-
kids show, so I can understand why it wouldn't get as many views, but I think people
You know-
are still sick about the Acolyte. That's what that was.
I was actually enjoying it,
Really?
but when they got to the planet where kids were soldiers, I was like, hey.
Did they treat them like actual child soldiers, or was it like a kids version of
the
child
kids
soldiers?
version of
Okay.
it wasn't the real child soldiers.
They can't
in
really
Africa.
show that in a kids
Yeah.
show though, so I'll give
So I was
them,
like, shut
I'll
the
give them
fuck.
leeway on that.
I just waited till the last episode and watched it, and I was like, what the fuck, man?
Just play that meme of that child soldier with the machete. And he's just like,
You're gonna have to send it to me. I'm not familiar.
you don't know what I'm talking about?
I am now as of you viewing this.
He's wearing okay, you know, whatever. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter.
Nothing matters. Nothing matters.
Star
Nothing
Wars.
matters.
Oh, hey,
Star Wars is dead.
speaking about nothing matters. This is not real.
Oh,
Yep, simulation theory has been proven.
I don't know about that.
No, what are you saying? What?
Well, I want to bring up what the B said,
Oh, you want to bring
Yeah.
that up first?
and then we'll talk about.
Simulation, or does it
Well-
tie into that?
No,
Joe-
it's talking about a movie.
Okay.
So
Well, it led into that because we're talking. Where I was showing him.
yeah, I did that on purpose. So it
We're
looks
showing
weird.
it.
I can't put the hit marker down there, bro.
I was showing him a video of the podcast with Joe Rogan and some old guy doing physics, whatever or something.
You're gonna have to help me find this one.
No,
I don't
I'll
know.
find it.
Okay.
But like here it is. Yeah, but it's some old guy he was interviewing, and he was talking about consciousness, right? I was like, ooh, okay, wait, let me hear this. And so he said he spent 30, 40 years researching consciousness, right? And I was like, wow. And so everything he said was a shit we talked about. That this is a simulation. I'm starting to lean more towards that now, but it's a real simulation. It's real.
Okay, as
Ow, my
real
hand.
as someone living in a simulation can
Yes.
get real. Yeah, like
So you know it. That's what I'm thinking, dude. I just think that I think it is. I think it is a simulation.
I think it circles back to creationism.
Yeah,
Simulation theory ties right into that.
Everything he was saying, he was talking about the singularity, right? That the consciousness is a singularity that we're linked to, and that's an atheist talking that. And then when you hear the church people talk, they're talking about God. God created us in His own image. It's the same.
Simulation master.
It's the same thing. And so everything he was saying, I couldn't find it in the video. I'll try to find it again, where he's basically saying, whatever the scientists said, the church people said this. And then Buddhists too. The Buddhists said this, and the science say this.
Coming through to the same answer through different means.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly what it is. And that just makes it more understandable for me. So that kind of like, it was really long and boring, but I was trying to pay attention when I was watching this.
Well, that guy was also kind of hard to understand too.
He's an older guy, but he's a real smart guy. Real man, the stuff he was saying was like, fuck yeah, I agree with that. Yes. Like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, because I'm just thinking back to, like, remember I told you the whole scene, the geometric form, and it's actually me before time and space and looking at the Big Bang before, and I was let into the Big Bang and to be part of everything, like dude, it all makes sense.
Little side tangent, that
Yeah.
little entity thing. I've moved it from the folders because I was putting it in the temp folders for each episode, but I was like, you know what? It's just gonna keep coming back, so I'm gonna put it in the permanent assets.
Yeah, so we watched that. I was trying to, like, before I could understand it, like, does this make any sense to you? And he's like, oh, I don't know.
You want to know why it wasn't making any sense? Because I was fucking tired. It was like
Knowledge is knowledge, man.
it is knowledge is knowledge. Yes,
it just
but-
zooms in on his head, and all you see is just Helldiver footage just playing in his brain.
Oh, by the way,
No, I think
we'll
it's
save that.
more of a Simpsons. Where did you ever see the episode where Bart was able to read people's minds?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, good. And so he zooms in on the principal, and then he goes, "I know you can read my mind, boy. You're gonna have detention for 8 months." He's like, and he looks over at his dad, and his dad, "I know you can read my mind, boy." Meow 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 meow.
It's just
I know you can read my mind, boy.
what's the name of that fucking of that brand? That commercial was Meow Mix.
I think it's Meow Mix. I don't know.
It's Meow Mix.
Shout out Meow Mix. You know.
Yeah. Meow meow meow. I know you can read my mind, boy.
boy.
So I was showing him Empty Man.
Really good movie.
Do you like it? So the
loved it.
only thing I don't like is the whole teenager shit. If you could just take
Is there an It like from Stephen King's It?
no. It's,
okay,
that's the problem. That's the problem that the movie had because everyone was just vaguely saying, "Oh, it's like the Thin Man or the Slender Man or some shit like that." All the crap, all the crap. It's like no, this is different. And the reason why I liked it because they were talking about stuff like, "Oh, I recognize that." So I showed him the scene in the movie where I forget the actor's name. There's the actor. I'm just going to show a picture. So that actor has been on a lot of stuff. He was on. Remember?
Are you talking about Aaron Poole?
Is it him? Barry? He was on Barry,
So Aaron Poole,
the old man.
giving
the speech.
Oh no, that's a different
Okay.
guy.
So that guy was giving a speech, right? And he was talking about. It was basically an indoctrination to the cult. That's what it was. So this guy who's playing police officer, he snuck in to kind of see like, what's this cult about? And he's listening, and the shit he was saying was like, what was the part he said? He said something about the Nolosphere.
Noosphere, yes.
The Nolosphere is
Nolosphere? Like
Noosphere, Noo sphere.
that was in
Okay.
that was in that movie
The Stalker.
Stalker.
Oh.
So the Nolosphere is where
Stephen Root.
Yes, that's him.
That guy.
So I was talking. So that's the one thing that the old man was talking to Joe Rogan about. He was saying that there's intuition. What was it? Intuition.
If you're talking about from the movie, it was intellect and intuition. I think.
Okay, intellect and intuition. Intellect is based on information and facts, right? That's your intellect. You figure things out, right? Like what makes sense. Intuition, where does that come from?
Your gut.
Right? Okay, you can say your gut, you can say your mind too, but where does that idea, like a spark of idea, come from? And so that's so the talk behind that is that there's a place where ideas come from.
Oh, it's like the Akashic records or something like that. Is that right?
Okay, that's another.
I might
yes.
be getting the name wrong, but I will put it on screen.
So there's some place, and so the idea is that consciousness is that.
And it's pulling ideas from
Yes.
there. Okay.
Because that's when we were talking about it, I was like, yeah, where do ideas come from? They come from here. We think, but like the really smart people, where the fuck is it? They're somehow tapped into
Like the Einsteins and
yes.
yeah, like
How does that happen, right? And maybe for dumb people, they're like, oh, how come I don't have that? Like whatever it is, but it definitely. Even the smart people are saying this too, like the old man talking about it, that it actually intuition, an idea coming from nowhere, like whatever that came from, no one really knows where that came from.
This is the skeleton from the movie.
very cool. It's
very
cool looking.
So I don't know what I'm not sure if that is a demon or an angel. Who knows?
Well, you said
What's the
it was an alien. You said the alien or demon?
That's just me. That's what me saying alien
Yeah.
or demon. It's the one with all these fingers and shit in his hand. Yeah, so we're just talking about that, and I started thinking about it because these are the things I think about, like, where does these ideas come from?
So something that reminded me of the Egyptians. Is it the Eye of Horus or
Is that? I think it might.
The Eye of Ra?
the Eye of Ra? Is that might be it? I might be getting this mixed
Well, there
up.
is
but
an Eye of Horus.
whatever. It's shaped like the hippocampus.
Yes.
that.
Okay, if you get the brain right, and you split it down the center, left and right brain. If you look at your what do you call it?
Center,
the pineal gland.
Pineal gland. Yep.
It looks like the Eye of Ra. And so
It's not the whole hippocampus. It's particularly the pineal gland.
the pineal gland that's around it. But if you look at that shape, it looks like an eye, right? That's where the eye of Ra, the idea comes from.
Yeah,
right?
that.
But
So
that
you get
the
the
pineal
eye of
gland,
Ra.
basically, you're thinking is the pineal gland is where DMT comes from. That's what they're thinking also.
It also comes from the lungs too.
Yes,
I know
yeah,
that.
it comes from the lungs too. So it's produced there, and again, it's produced when you're born. It's produced when you die. It's produced when you dream. So again, that molecule of DMT is some kind of transmitter. It receives and sends.
Okay, so
Thoughts are computable. Thoughts are transmittable.
Yeah,
the quantum mind hypothesis type deal, where it's like we have like these tiny little structures in the neurons of our brain, or the cells themselves, where stuff can move along them, and they seem to be like where the wave collapse happens for quantum mechanic type stuff in our brain.
Wow.
I don't know.
Cells within cells.
I like entertaining the idea that we are like flesh puppets being controlled by something quantumly entangled with our brains.
And that's the consciousness.
That's
Right.
individually or I'm trying to get this quote somewhat right, not entirely butcher it, but it's all consciousness itself individually and subjectively observing itself.
Yes. That.
So
What the hell does that mean, right? Like you
It
think
means we've been smoking way too much pot.
I know. Like what? This is fucking awesome shit. But everything that movie basically, for me, tuned into like some of, like when I saw Dune, I was like, oh, this guy was doing shrooms, right? That's where the writer got his ideas from. I'm thinking that these guys who did this movie, that they also probably partaked in DMT or something, and they inserted some of that into the story. That's what I think they did. So the idea for this movie is basically that there is an entity of some kind. Remember when he kidnaps that guy and beats him up, and he tells him, and the kid says, "It's a." Was it? He was saying that
the guy that was sitting in the hospital bed was a transmitter.
Yes, but the guy that he kidnapped some kid to basically ask him where this girl's at, trying to find his girl, and he beats him. The kid says, "God dang, I always forget. Bad memory."
He said that thoughts are transmittable.
No. Back to the aliens. He said there were spirits there that are really old and they're mad,
They were ancient and angry.
ancient and angry. That's
That's
what
not
he
a
said.
good combo.
So
No.
for me, when they said that, I was like, maybe that's what the entities are that I saw. But the thing is, the entities were just observing me. It wasn't malice. It wasn't good. It was just they were just being neutral, observing me, and like, hey, he made it through. That's the impression I got. Like when they were looking at me with their star eyes, I was like, that's when I recognized, holy crap, that's them. And I was pointing, and so I think they were just observing me, like, oh, he got through. And then I came back, and then when I asked them the question, they showed me the answer. My version of their, what the answer is basically. And so that's what I think it's a good movie. If you've taken the medicine that I've taken, once you take the medicine, right? I'm going to call it that. There are certain things that trigger. Oh, wait a minute, that's interesting, right? As I was doing for me, that was Empty Man. And there's the like when the old man talking about consciousness. What? And all these things trigger interest to me because it's familiar to me, and that's why we keep repeating ourselves over and over again. But who cares? It's the word, like the Bible. When they heard the word, I get that. And like the whole thing. I remember talking about William, the Marine who heard God. Like, what do you mean you heard God? The wind. I go, I get it. Like that. Like those are the kind of things that kind of trigger. Like, whoa,
It's like an extrasensory feeling.
or something. Yeah, that's why I wanted to show them the movie, and then we finally got to see the end of it, and then it's a really good, creepy,
Cosmic horror.
Yeah, cosmic horror, but it's some really cool moments in that movie that are like, this is pretty cool. Yeah, really good.
Upon watching it, it's just for we should do like a movie list or something. I guess.
Just get a big old recommendation list. Start reading them off.
Basically. But
Dune.
Dune Part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, it's cosmic horror. You like H.P. Lovecraft. I love
his cat's name.
I love his cat's name too. I'm just going to say this right now. Love his books. immaculate with the racism. Immaculate.
But
no,
his
he was the
stories-
father of the cosmic horror.
But was it him making stuff up to understand the cosmos? Right? It was
I
kind of.
don't know.
I did listen to a breakdown. It's funny how this keeps happening where it's like it's a week before or a week after when I'm like editing
What?
stuff. I'll see stuff that's related to this. Someone breaking down H.P. Lovecraft specifically, like his
Yeah.
worldview could have been heavily influenced by how he was how he was treated when he was alive, whether that was like deserved or not. But he felt very isolated and very like there's no hope. There's everything's gonna fucking heat death of the universe type stuff before he even knew
Pessimistic.
about that. Yeah, super pessimist. And that could be what influenced his writing is that he always felt so alone. And that there's always this existential threat or some kind of cosmic horror coming after him.
He basically, when he was in, like, when he was a kid, the teacher went up to him and be like, "Hey, the Earth is going to die in 500 billion years."
They didn't know. They didn't know that. When
They didn't know that.
I know, but that'd be funny. It'd be
I
like,
don't know
he
why I
kept
mentioned
that.
that. I'm just using that as an example.
I know, but that'd be funny if that, if that did happen. They'd be like,
What if he did know about the heat death of the universe?
He just sits there like,
I gotta write this down.
I
and
gotta
make
write it
octopus
down. I gotta
hentai
write it
stuff.
When there was a video. It's called YouTube channel called Sheep something. God,
something.
Here it is.
Yeah.
So they had a video where they were taking you through the, when Earth was created, and going into the heat death of the universe, and it's in 20 minutes, right? Every second, it's multiplying faster and faster and faster. The time, right? And that was really the idea that black holes evaporate was what stuff. It's just.
You can also
It's crazy,
There's
dude.
different answers, different working models for understanding the universe, all that jazz. But
Yeah.
there's the white hole idea, where it's like the opposite of a black hole, where it's like maybe that's the other end of a black hole, where it's just ejecting matter and there's absolutely no way to get back into it. Or there's also the big bounce.
Yeah, I've heard of that too. I think from what was really spooky was going from the beginning to the end of heat death. We're talking like 99% of that lifespan is just black holes evaporating. And it's only light for like 1%.
That would just be like the red dwarfs that are still there towards the end.
And that was kind of terrifying. Well, if we evolve to, that's another thing too, man. The idea,
Are we even going to be around that long as a species?
Will
Will we
it-
transcend by
the way-
that point? Exit the simulation?
I think if we exit simulation, I think when we pass away, when we die, I really believe that there is something after because of my experience. How the hell do you explain NDAs?
Non-disclosure
single-
agreements?
No.
That's what I hear when I hear
near
it.
death experience.
Oh,
There we go.
NDEs?
NDE, yep, there you go.
So how the hell do you explain that? That they're all similar, but they're different, right?
Yeah, fair point.
And
I will say it's this like a flood of chemicals to your brain, which to be fair, like you just
okay.
you do a nice rip off a DMT pen, you'd get the same experience, kind of.
No, but why is that there?
It could be to help you pass on, or it could be some way of the body saying like they'll fight it, just be at peace. It could be something like that.
But then, if it doesn't really matter, why even the brain do that?
Yeah. And then also, that raises another question. Excuse me. What happens if you don't get to experience that? Like your brain gets completely, like you get run over by a semi or something. What happens?
That's what I'm worried about. Okay, so I've thought about that too. When the Greek mysteries in Elysium, if you took part in the drinking, of the spiked wine, you're an initiate. And that's where that phrase comes from. If you die before you die, you won't die when you die. Means I'm already there. And so that's kind of the idea. So, and we were watching Survive the Jive. He had a video on like where swastikas came from and everything.
That showed up in my recommended. You're freaking me out, man.
And so in he mentions in one of the quotes, Soma.
Oh, yep.
Soma.
So I heard about that was from the game, and then I read the book Brave New World. And I think that was where I pulled it from. Yeah.
I think the Yanamni, or the creators of the Indo-European language, they had soma. And there's definitely proof of them actually smoking weed too, or having
Based.
weed. They do that, and they were like men orientated, Skyfather, all that kind of thing, right? And so the soma, that drink, whatever that was, ended up in the Buddhist, philosophy or religion, pretty much.
The Buddhist,
The Buddhist, not the Buddhist, but the Hindu, basically.
okay.
And so there is talk of that. So the soma ra, whatever it is, then for the in the Norse they call it pneuma, and then that pneuma might have been the same drink that the blue lotus that the Egyptians were drinking too, and that might have spilled into the recipe. Maybe got lost, whatever, and then it ended up in Elysium with a spiked wine, and so that got lost. And it comes back again as ayahuasca in South America. It's almost like the cosmos is trying to let us know hints like this is what it really is. This is what reality really is. Because I always think of like if we're gonna that was the whole thing. It was kept a secret during the Greek mysteries because you're not supposed to talk about it, and you're not supposed to you know of it, but you can't speak of what you experienced. And so when they went to Elysium and partake in this ritual, it was recommended everybody at least once in your lifetime go there, partake, and keep it to yourself. Learn something, bring back something. And so, but the stories came out, and then the idea was that they're in a building, and they're looking at the ceiling of the building, but they saw space and stars. You can't. It's physical roof. But that's what. And then again, like these guys are drinking this spiked wine for probably about 1,000 years, probably before the Romans shut it down, basically. And
Losers.
but the thing about the Greeks too, the Greeks figured out math, philosophy, government, and they're a bunch of freaks too. They're fucking freaky, and they figured out the meaning of life. So you're not going to tell me that they figured. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what when you were taking that, you are now an initiate. And that's where that quote comes from. If you die before you die, you won't die when you die because you're already there. So if your brain gets smashed where it can't, what I'm thinking is that your pineal gland, when you die, releases it, gives you that near-death experience. That molecule is creating the micro wormhole to reconnect your consciousness back to the source. Now, can it get cut off? I don't know. That's what spirits are on Earth. They can't get back to that. Their consciousness has been cut off from the one or something. To me, it's like I can't be making this shit up. I have to look at what I've experienced and what I'm seeing and what scientists say and what shamans say too. And it's like, what is the real answer? It's going to take a while to figure that out because are we a simulation? Yeah, maybe we are. But all that right there is there is definitely something after death. There's no doubt in my mind.
Something else tripped the shit out of me when I watched it. I think this was after I did shrooms, but it was around that time in my life. Not while I was tripping, but it was a video by Kurzgesagt.
Yes.
I remember I put them in episode 4.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
top tier animations, beautiful works.
A little
that they
left
put out.
leaning.
Yeah,
They're okay.
Nobody's perfect. But
Yeah, nobody's
it's-
perfect.
I will say I'll give them props. I'm subscribed to them. They put out
They're
some
good,
very good
yeah.
educational stuff. But anyway, the episode that they put out or the video they put out was called I think it was called The Egg.
Oh my God, yes, dude.
That when I watched, I was like,
Okay,
what
see?
the fuck?
Oh, wait.
That's what that right there. That actually made me cry because
It gave me an epiphany on that level where I was.
that's
on
what
the
I'm
verge of
talking
tearing
about,
up.
dude. Everything I'm saying, watch the egg right there. Right there is everything that I'm thinking.
Just to give a quick summary, though, essentially, it's telling a story about a guy who just died in a car accident, and then he's like reincarnating. But between that reincarnation, he's talking to this like other entity thing.
Himself.
Here's the entity, but he's talking to it. And it's like explaining, it's like, hey, if you hang out here long enough, all the memories will start to come back from every one of your reincarnations, but you're not quite ready yet, so you have to go back. This
It
time
goes
you're
with the
gonna
Buddhist.
Yeah.
It's a little Buddhist, but the egg makes sense to me because of what I did. It makes sense to me.
It's reconnecting with the, for lack of a better term, the Christ consciousness. where it's like a shared consciousness between all of us.
Yep. That does.
That and it also was showing that there's no time restraints on that too, because
there isn't.
You're able to. This guy died in modern times, and now he's going to be reincarnated as like some Asian lady from like the 1800s or something, like rice farmer.
Billions and billions of lives.
Yeah. And another cool thing that really awakened in my mind is like, what if everybody thought like this? Then there would be a lot less conflict.
Yes,
It would be.
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. The only if I had seen the egg, I'm glad you saw the egg because I did the medicine first, then I saw the egg, and I'm like, everyone should watch this, man, because that's the idea of love, right? The ancient knowledge, love.
Because no, when you're hurting someone else, you are hurting.
You're hurting yourself, exactly. And I was like, oh my god, that was so profound for me, man.
Even if the concept of reincarnation is wrong, I still think that message applies there, where it's like you're just hurting yourself.
Yep. Every time you hurt somebody or talk about it, it's okay to ribbon and play, making fun. Everyone laughs.
If it's coming from
But
a
to
place
be-
of malice, though, that's when it's.
Oh man, when I see like pictures of like Jewish kids behind a wire, like that really hurt. It hurts to see that, even if it's any blacks, Indians, any human suffering. That really, because what really got me was like one little girl behind the fence. It was just like 1930s or 1940s, whatever. When then they're little Jewish kids, and one of them looks like my sister. Brunette. I was like, oh, that, god damn, that tore me up, man. Like, fuck, that looks like my little sister. And it's just fucking horrible. God damn it.
So human suffering sucks.
Watch the egg, dude, because
Yeah, that is. I can't recommend it enough. It's
oh man,
it's very mind opening if you've never entertained the idea.
That's the part I don't get. Like the suffering, man. It's just like there's no need for that shit.
Well,
man.
in the egg, it's explained. It's like you're not ready yet. You have to experience.
How many
this.
times you have to learn?
An incomprehensible amount for us.
Yeah.
Incomprehensible.
That's what, and that goes back to what I was saying, that a murderer experiences his life because he was supposed to experience that. A victim is supposed to experience that because that's what they're supposed to experience. And the egg makes sense that, when people like, how could God let this happen? This has nothing to do with that. This is something to do with it, because there's a lot of people.
plan.
It's a part of the. It's horrible.
God's plan.
But that's
God's
how.
plan.
I feel good sometimes. I don't. Hey.
But it's like you have to have that ugliness to appreciate everything else. And you got to have suffering to have pleasure. Like, you have to, man. There's no other way
Yin and the
around it.
yang.
The yin and yang. There is a yin and a yang.
This is the hippy dippy episode.
This is the
Yeah.
name of it right there. Hippy dippy.
I don't know. It's a lot. This is the kind of things I like talking about, because no one else is really kind of talking about this kind of stuff. I haven't seen anyone talk about this stuff.
It's like when you're trapped in your 9 to 5, it's just
Yeah.
you don't have time to think about that kind of stuff.
No,
And
no,
some
yeah.
people don't want to.
I get that too, and that's okay, because the same thing. Like I don't expect anyone to understand where I'm coming from, but if even like one sentence that I say kind of gets through, that's all that matters. I think But yeah, this here, it's just life is incredible. Life is fascinating.
It's a miracle.
It's
it is. Like, remember we're talking about the sperm? I tell you about that.
Oh God, not
Talking
talking
about
this
sperm
up.
again.
Okay, so the idea that there cannot. Did we talk about this? There cannot be time machine. There cannot be time machines.
Yeah, because you go the grandfather paradox always.
You screw everything up.
Yeah.
Now the reason, this is where it gets even more detailed, where you can't fuck with time. I'm gonna go back and kill Hitler. You fucking moron. You're gonna make things worse. You have no idea what you're gonna fucking do. Not only that, okay, this is how technical it gets. There's a movie called About Time. That's a good movie. And so that movie deals with time. You just go into a closet and you close your eyes and you're back in time. Going back to, you could be 10 years old. You pick a point, anywhere you want to go, you go. And that's what this movie was about. But this guy did that, and his little girl turned into a little boy. Because
transgender.
No, it wasn't
no,
transgender.
no.
Because the sperm was a different
Yeah.
sperm.
Yeah, you remember that each time you were explaining this to me, you're like, "Oh, your dad's hot load."
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what we were talking about last
You
night.
just had to talk about the fat load.
You kept interjecting. He goes, "Shut up." That was hilarious. So that's what I'm saying. So if you went back in time, you have to be able to either watch it through a mirror or through a window, because if you're there, just because of the wind you make, if you fuck with anybody having sex and you stop them from having sex 1 hour or a second, yes, a different sperm. Not only that, the egg is one thing. The egg's there for a month and it's gone. Another egg, right? So the women is for a month. Whenever they're banging and that egg is there for that 1 month, it's just a different egg, a different makeup. Then you go by the milliseconds to a sperm because you have 3 million of them, whatever, going to the egg.
And the moment one of them breaches, the egg then releases a protein that hardens the outside.
And nothing else can get through. Now, how close, if you jizz sooner or earlier that moment, is a different sperm getting
different
there.
angle, you just hit it
Yes.
slightly different.
And that's why no matter what you do, the sperm is going to be different. If you delay half a second, let me hold off 1 more minute, and it's too late. Now you have a different kid. It's a totally different. The possibilities of you being on Earth are a fucking Google to 1. Okay, it's a Google to 1 that you made it through, and that's why I think that life is so precious, because. And I realized, I know how fucking precious life, how I'm here, I'm a miracle of the Google to 1 that I made it through my dad's load and I beat all the other sperms. You know what I'm saying?
Your dad's fat load, yeah.
Yes. And that's so when you think about that, shut the fuck up. I'm gonna go back in time and kill Hitler. Shut the fuck up. You have because you fuck with that, you've just fucked with everything else. After the timeline, you're gone. You're
just gonna teach Hitler to not be racist.
Yeah. So you see what I'm saying? That's fascinating. You even think about that.
I remember one of the funniest insults I ever heard when I was in high school was like, "Man, the world would be so much better if you were a stain on the couch." Like, that motherfucker had to explain it to me, but it was funny.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, what do you mean stain on the couch?
You're right. Exactly. Yeah.
I have 2 things to get to. First one, B.
Oh, well, yeah. Tell him
So
about
he knows part of it, but he didn't know the
I
conversation
will need a
afterwards.
refresher.
episode 5. We talked. We had the article that we talked about, and I explained the whole. This is where humans came from and everything.
Oh, where
right?
we came, yep.
So then, the guy hasn't seen the video yet, but he came back later. What it took?
So basically, what happened was, I think, how many episodes are up right now? 3,
4.
Well,
4.
We haven't, whatever. But he's seen all the recent episodes before 4, and he said, like, you need to kick Rom off. You need to kick Rom off the fucking show,
this
bro.
guy out of here.
This guest
he
needs
doesn't know
to
we had
go.
to-
By the
yeah,
way,
he doesn't know yet.
He said he referred to him as a guest, and I sat there, I was like, this is a 3-man podcast. The fuck do you mean?
Guest. We haven't had a guest on. Oh, the technically first episode.
I thought that was funny when he said.
Yeah. Well, technically, the first episode
You
we
need to get
did,
rid of that
but-
guy.
The maintenance guy showing up.
Yeah. So, but he literally said you need to kick him off, and as soon as I heard that, I was like,
But did he
nah.
explain? He ever explain why?
Well, he did because he did. I just don't remember it. And when I tried to, contact him that night when we were watching The Empty Man,
yeah. Oh yeah.
let me pull it up right quick because
I was like, what did I do? What did I do to
that's the thing. I don't think it's more.
What did I
I don't think
do?
it's more like an
Who
offense.
hurt you?
I think it was what he was trying to get at was shit.
Was he? He was. I was explaining that.
That's why I was trying to get him
figure
to
out the
say
point.
it
I got
again.
Pete.
Yeah, I was trying to get him to say it again.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I asked him, this is exactly how I say it, viewers. I said, what is your complaint about my podcast again? I didn't hear you last time you talked about it. It said, I don't remember. That was fresh feedback. Something about making sure the audio was less condensed, if I had to guess. He didn't say that. He did not say that. I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It had to deal with you, and it had to deal with your segment and the podcast about
History?
About primates and all that type of stuff. And he was talking about early hominids. And you're like, I'm not
Oh,
even
wait,
there yet.
I'm not even there yet.
He's not even there yet. Because
Right now we're at 45
Yeah.
million BC. Right now.
Yeah, basically. And I replied to him. I said, I do remember bits and pieces, but it was about my buddy in a segment of human evolution, and you suggesting him getting kicked. He said, Lamau, Honestly, don't remember what I said. However, I think his timeline needs some more important factors added in, such as the development of archaic pre-human hominids. Nonetheless, I thought he was a guest. I didn't realize he was a host. He did know you were a host when I told him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but what he's talking about, I won't get there for another 40 million years.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Maybe 30 million years.
I didn't say it to him.
Yeah.
But
Well, explain that to him at least. Like, we'll get there eventually.
yeah.
Because
I think I did say that.
Because the next one I'm doing,
That's as much as I wanted to talk about from that.
I just thought it was funny.
Oh,
It's
did I
like-
miss it?
No, just basically like the reason, like him wanting to kick me off because of whatever, and I was like, dude, what did I do wrong?
What did I do wrong? Yeah. But
How come you, but
But-
not me?
one other thing.
Let us know in the comments what we're doing wrong.
One
Yeah,
other
so
thing.
we're at 45 million BC, man. So we
Basically.
got a long ways.
I want to continue on with this. And we did talk about, I mentioned this. I didn't talk about it. I mentioned this. And you also mentioned it too. I think it was the psychedelic episode. We were talking about your experience with it and like how people, it's for everyone, but hold on, what the fuck was it? Whatever you exactly said, I'm not going to try to repeat it. Everybody should know it by now.
I don't recommend it if it calls to you. But
If it calls to you,
it's legal in Texas. You can go to
Yes.
the churches in Texas and do it, so it's legal.
but
But if you do go, if it calls to you, go to do it. But everyone should do it, but it's not for everybody.
yes.
Because there are people that are taking, like when I tried to get my two buddies at the police officers, they're both veterans and they're both police officers. I tried getting them to go, and it was like herding cats. One of them, come on, kitty. One of them is taking
Heart medication, right?
heart medication, so you got to get off of that first.
Yeah.
And the other one's taking crazy pills because he's crazy. But he's, they're both good guys, but he's not going to be able to function. And they're kind of worried, like, oh, I don't know about that, man. They're like getting off it for a 2 months or a month before they can actually go and do the real medicine, because it could seriously mess with them. And that's the reason why I was like, no, it's not for. It's sure you got to get. That's why you got to be ready to do it. And they have doctors. Like the place I'm talking about is in Conroe, Texas, and their place is beautiful because I went to go once I heard that that there was this place. I go, because when I did it, I had to camp out. Kind of sucks. But if you had a place to like a bed, you have a shitter, you have a shower, you have a place to meet, and it was a resort. It's a freaking resort, and you can do this there. And I was like, hell yeah, dude, this is where to do it, because it's secluded. It's surrounded by big giant trees. There's a little lake or a pond nearby, and you can walk. There's so many places you can walk. It's basically it's a resort that for like wedding rehearsals and weddings and stuff that they bought. The guy's a veteran, and he's from the valley like where I'm from South Texas. And so I was able to get a hold of him, and I was like, well, okay, I'll try to get him. I'll have them call you if they call you. But because the buddy of mine that's the sheriff's deputy, he called me up and said, hey, I'm ready. I was like, really, dude? I was like, you want to do this? I was like, I'll go with you. I'll do it with you. And I'll pay for it. And he goes, no. And so he was kind of iffy about doing it because I told him I'll pay for it and go with you, and I'll do it too. Because we're going to do ayahuasca. And so he knows he kind of needs it too. He knows he needs it. And my other buddy, the police officer, he was thinking about doing it too, but they just, things didn't happen. And again, it was like herding cats. But I wasn't going to force him. Okay, this is what you got. Here's the phone number. Call the guy, and they're going to have to tell you what you need to do before you get there. They never called him. So it was like, okay, well, I can only do so much. And I'm not gonna. That's the one thing. If I'm not gonna force anyone to do this or pressure them, I'm definitely not pressure.
You have to want it.
You have to want it. It has to call to you. And then once they get comfortable to do it, they'll do it.
Like the empty man called to Aaron Poole's character in the movie. But no, continuing. I don't know if you necessarily said this on that episode particularly, but you said like you want me to do it so I can write it down. Because you saw how my writing detail and everything like that, with details and all that type of stuff. Yeah. Now I'm going to preface this now. Don't expect anything else from this. Just saying that now. But I am going to read something that I've written. Uh-oh. You haven't heard it. You have, and you said it's like two things talking to each other.
Yeah.
So the title of it is called "The Monolith of Flesh," and it's I don't know what the hell I was doing one day, but I was just sitting out on the porch smoking a cigarette and like, I should write that. That's basically what goes through my mind. So I'm going to start now. O cousin of mine, O cousin of flesh and bone, how the ancients sculpted their creation in such imperfect form. They cleaved your flesh roots, took apart your holy mass, and molded you upright brothers and sisters, and fashioned the world's branches to befit your hair. The plucking of your many eyes, what a waste that was, bestowed gifts of sight to the upright flesh imitations of your own squandered form, cousin. Many hues now shared among with fewer eyes, another wasted creation. The fatty parts of your former splendor were dressed in wretched tendrils of star and blood. Those ancients supped to give you intelligence, but neglected your birth-given intellect. Your inferior form was lastly adorned with the world's softest bones of rock and silt, of roaring seas, and molded those abhorrent protrusions you call ears. But they did grant you one gift I do like. They took away your long flesh appendages, grafted marrow and structure into them, and gifted you the ability to manipulate the world that is with gestulation. Still wasted nothing, nonetheless. You look upon me, your flesh-bolden relative, like some ancient horror that was meant to never see the light of day. The mannerisms of your face, body, and mind utter volumes to my keen and receptive senses as your mind screams, abomination, your body gestures, destruction, and your face petrified by fear.
Dramatic pause.
That's basically all I wrote.
That sounded very Lovecraftian.
That's, well, he is my inspiration to a degree.
Is that
He really
is
liked
that
his
a
cat.
is that a it sounded to me like it was a god taking different forms. A demon or no, that's what demon. I would say an entity taking different forms and remembers every single thing. That's what it sounds like to me.
So I haven't gotten into great detail, but it's supposed to be like this.
Cosmic horrors.
Yeah, I guess,
Open ended.
Don't explain it. Yeah.
Yeah, open ended is what makes
So
cosmic
this
horrors.
entity was talking to this individual. It's supposed to be human, and seeing that this entity's race was taken apart, sculpted into something new.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be new, but it's not. It's imperfect compared to this entity's splendor. That's basically what I was trying to get at.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, this is the second time you've heard it. Do you not remember the first time?
No.
Because I think this is after we
he's talking to himself. That's what I gathered.
Mm-hmm.
But it does seem like it's like a entity that's able to, who's been around for a long time, going through all these different metamorphoses and remembers. That's what I see. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. No, I like that.
Yeah, that was it's weird doing it on a podcast.
Hey,
honestly,
man.
it
No,
is
it's
weird.
cool.
It's
Put it out
just
Like poetry.
it's honestly, I think it's better off just as a short story, I guess, or something.
That's
Something
good,
to
man.
that
That's
Yeah, you
good.
ought to throw that in the description or something.
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
Keep at it, man, because this is what it's about, man.
I mean, there's
You were definitely painting some visuals with that, though. I would say that was
Yeah.
very good.
there was that book that I got, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not ready for that.
I'm putting the most horrific book up here right now.
Which
But-
was that one?
I don't know yet, but when I'm editing,
But
that's what he was reading.
So I like cosmic horror. It's pretty good, especially with H.P. Lovecraft stuff. I bet there's probably more out there that I haven't touched yet, especially with the Empty Man. That's cosmic horror.
Okay, remember we were talking about how it's the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Remember we were talking about that?
You were talking about it. I
Okay,
was listening.
so we were talking about. That's what he's okay. The old man and the damn it, the actor that was giving the speech on the indoctrination of all these.
Stephen Root's
Yeah, when he's
character.
giving his speech, right, and he said in one of them, it's like a child's game. You say a name over and over again, it becomes gibberish. And I've done that.
Yeah, I forget what the phenomenon's called, but I find myself doing that a lot where it's like I'm doing a Google search on how to spell a very obvious, like, spell
Yeah.
a word, but it's because, like, I have it so ingrained in my head. It's like, this is right.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. It's that little bit of doubt that makes me go. Let
So-
me type it into Google.
I'll just like make up a name, like Kevin, right? And your name's Kevin, and you repeat it, Kevin.
Kevin.
You keep repeating it, and it's 2 syllables. Kevin.
Dude, Kevin watching this right now is like, no way.
So
No way, man.
when you break it down, it starts to sound like gibber. Then it's just whatever monkey noises that have a meaning, right? And so that's the idea of if it's an idea and you repeat the idea over and over again, the idea becomes meaningless, right? And you can put the next thing, and so what I see is like the cosmic horror. Right, the space is unknown. But what I've realized is that once you put a name to something, you've identified it. When it's unidentifiable, like UFOs, aliens, that kind of shit, when it's unidentifiable, there's no shape to it. Your mind can't grasp it until it gives it a label. And when you give it a label, it creates meaning. What?
Watashi no gakusei wa oishii desu.
What is that? What is
He's
it?
doing his Duolingo right now.
Manko kudasai.
Okay.
What is?
Yeah, I don't know if the captions will pick that up, but essentially I said my students are tasty and pussy please. I'm using the other languages appropriately.
So that's when you put a label to something, you've taken away the mystery, you've taken away the fear of it.
Yeah, that was incomprehensible until I explained it.
Right, exactly.
Unless you understand the wavelength I'm on.
But as I'm saying, so when you put a label, that's any fears that you have or unknowns. Once you're able to identify it and you start putting meaning behind it, and then the fear is gone, the fog disappears. Dude, put the cherry out, Jesus Christ!
God damn. So running a hookah shop over here?
So we were talking about that.
That is part of the allure is that the human mind will always try to like solve puzzles, and
Yes.
then it seems like cosmic horror is an open-ended puzzle most of the time.
man.
So
And
it's
see,
really
when
fun.
Lovecraft is making these creatures, these gods, whatever he's making, it's his way of putting labels on things of these weird fucking unknowns. Mm-hmm. And there's something disarming to that, whatever that is. It disarms it by labeling it and putting meaning to it.
I have
Understanding.
noticed that because reading H.P. Lovecraft or Stephen King or anything to that degree, just as soon as this is what I've experienced. Really, I think my imagination was probably killed when I was fucking in high school or something. But not literally,
That's public schools
but-
for you.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, as soon as I've noticed,
You're grounded.
as soon as I start learning more about it, I'm like, oh, okay, it's not that scary anymore.
Right. Yeah.
The only thing that could be scary about it is probably what would be pertain to body horror.
You guys want a new scary thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's cosmic horror,
Yeah,
and the opposite. What would the opposite be?
I don't know.
Cosmic bliss.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
What if instead of being afraid of Cthulhu, you were immediately like, God, I want to fuck that.
Okay.
No, like that's the scary. Like it's not something that you inherently want to avoid. It should be like all your rational brain is screaming like, this is bad, but like the cosmic bliss part of it is saying like, no, you want to be a part of this. Like the best example I can think of is a story. I fuck the name, but it's a story of this flame, and the flame is just so beautiful. This guy he happened upon it, so I was like, this is just such a beautiful flame. I got to show this to somebody, and he brings his buddy over, and his buddy is also like, God damn, this flame is so beautiful. Life is meaningless without it, and then he hops in the flame, and then the guy who originally brought his friend out there is like, you know what? Actually, yeah, it is. This is something I want to be a part of, and then jumps in the flame as well.
What happened?
Cosmic bliss. The flame, whatever supernatural thing the flame had about it, is it makes you like your senses fail you, and then you're now suddenly drawn to this thing instead of being repulsed by it.
Like a moth to a
Like a moth to a flame. Cosmic bliss.
Cosmic
I didn't come up with that.
some kind of
did?
evil creature.
Oh, I saw a YouTube video. And
Okay.
It's not coming into mind right now, but if it does, I'll put it up.
There's an
Right here.
evil entity that consumes.
It could be a
something.
neutral power. It could be
like just to give you some other writing ideas there. In cosmic horror, there's also cosmic bliss.
It's just as horrible.
Yeah, it's just a different end of it.
What's more scarier though? That's also a good question. What's more scarier, like cosmic bliss or
Something,
cosmic horror?
something you know is bad and you want to avoid, or something that you know is bad and you for some reason want to get to it, or get to it. You want to fuck the fire. You want to fuck the fire.
Slash.
Nurgle.
But that's the thing I noticed too. But I'm gonna divulge a little bit more information about how my writing process kind of works too, and especially with the book. By the way, don't expect anything. The Monolith of Flesh is the only thing you're fucking getting. But the book that I was writing, I need to write again. But it was basically, I was just sitting in my backyard. This is like before I started smoking too, so this is great too. I'm sitting there on my phone, playing some jams, going through like Twitter or whatever, and I looked up for my phone, and just for a split second, like a snap of a finger, I swore I saw a face looking at me. At the rim of the dimly lit radius of the fire, I swore I saw a pale white face, no eyes, just an empty abyss in those eyes.
Without a face.
And I just,
Good song.
It was there, and then it was gone, like a blink of an eye. And I was like, I should write a story about this. And that's when I started writing, and that's when I showed you. I think I might have showed you. I'm not too sure. And then I showed it at a little bit of Liquid Courage one night, and I showed that that Mia Khalifa looking chick.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that, and she liked it. And I was like, I even then when I was like about a single of Whiskey on the Rocks, and then about maybe five or six gin and tonics in. I was like,
that's a lot.
Yeah. I sat there and I was like, fuck it. Why not? Went to her.
I was like a shot in one gin and tonic. I'm just gonna say.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. But I handed her my phone. I was like, can you read that, please? I kind of want to get some criticism out of it. And she liked it.
And then you should have, like, at the end of it, you should have put in, like, enter number here.
Enter number here.
That shit works.
Yeah. But it was just like, I don't know why I did it other than the fact that I was inebriated, but
It gave you courage.
it gave me courage to do it. Yeah. And I don't normally do that. I don't normally do that.
Have you heard of auto brewery syndrome?
Okay.
It's essentially where you can get a certain bacteria to grow in your gut that causes alcohol to ferment naturally. It's like there's a guy who did it by taking baker's yeast and boofing it like up his butt.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, it gave himself auto brewery syndrome. So he's constantly fucking wasted all the time. Yeah, but there's other people who just had it naturally develop, and they get like pulled over. They haven't had a single drink of alcohol. They get breathalyzed, and they're fucking blowing like crazy numbers.
are they really drunk?
Yes, but they're part of alcohol is like it ruins your judgment. So it's like they don't think they're inebriated. Obviously, they really don't think it because they didn't actually have any drinks.
Yeah.
But because of this syndrome, they are under the effects of alcohol
What the fuck?
produced in their own body.
Wow.
And there have been cases where people have been pulled over for that, and then they beat their cases because they had this very rare. Yes.
That reminds me, the monkeys. Monkeys, if you go to like the Caribbean or anywhere like a vacation, there's monkeys there. The monkeys know that the colored drinks have alcohol, and they'll steal them.
God,
And the little monkeys get drunk.
that's fucking hilarious.
And they're like swerving. They're moving. Yeah, they're
I
walking
can just
around.
imagine a little monkey on fucking
Yeah.
walking around with his little fucking 40 in his hand, just.
Yeah, it's just they're just yeah. They go in there and they're stealing the drinks and they're drinking them, and before you know it, they're like they try to steal some more. And they're actually and they're having fun. They're having a good time too.
Oh, yeah.
They're having a good time, and eventually they just pass out.
Can you imagine if you could do like crazy parkour like it was nothing, and you could get fucking hammered just by
know.
stealing these people's drinks and they're not even looking?
And that's part of the simian. That's part of the simia forms. Like there's little monkeys, and they enjoy getting drunk. There's something.
all.
Yeah, we all. That's what I'm saying. It's like that was really funny. He's like, what, these little bastards? Yeah.
That also kind of ties in that cosmic bliss thing, is just surrendering to something.
Yeah, there's
There's a little bit of relief in surrendering to the all encompassing.
I don't think I can do that. I'll fight to the end.
Slanesh walks in right now.
I would try to kill that.
Dick and titties.
Fucking. No, I can't say that because it sounds weird because you brought up Slanesh now. Fuck. I was about to say like beat her off with a stick, but yeah.
Where are we at? How long have we been yapping?
I don't know. I need glasses to see that.
It is
like
currently
tiny little red.
1:45 and some seconds.
Where's it at?
Is it bottom right next to the red dot?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
We did good. This is good.
We are doing good.
Yeah.
What else?
Even with the delays tonight.
Yeah, I know. I thought. Yeah, I got a big. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been improving each time.
Yeah.
We're only going to get better from here, especially with contingency plans next time.
Yeah.
Contingency plans, yes.
Mhm. It's the winter contingency.
Okay, that's another thing, dude. Man, oh my god, I can't believe how the environment will kill you. Like, because
Environmental hazards.
Yeah, being in Texas, like that was never an issue.
Have you seen how much snow they got?
Who?
Texas.
Really? What they get?
I have some relatives that live like 6 blocks away from the coast.
Yeah.
And like, it looks like a blizzard fucking hit those guys.
What?
Yeah, they are getting like crazy. New Orleans, they got a record level of snow. Like,
what?
It's a once in a generation type snowstorm there. And like, there's pictures of Bourbon Street or video live feed of it, and people just walk around. There's one guy that was skiing down the street. It was funny.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Hey man, look.
Is it sticking? Is this snow stain?
I don't imagine it'll stick very long, but it looked like it was sticking from the videos.
Holy crap!
We're going into another ice age. That's what I'm saying.
So
it's going to be a beautiful ice age. It's gonna be beautiful.
Terrifying thing. You know, I forget what the actual thing's called, but you might be able to Google it. But so there's a skate tool essentially where it's like a T-bar, and it's like 3 equally spaced prongs where it's like one's jutting off from the side and then the other one's going straight up and down. Like if I do my finger, it's like that, except I don't like that. Mm-hmm. What you do is you take it and you spin it along this axis. It'll spin, and then this is in 0G. They were doing it on the space station.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah,
spin. Oh, flip, spin. Oh, flip, spin. So that's what happens when you spin something in 0G that has it's not an equal distribution of mass, and the Earth is not an equal distribution of mass. So the Earth is spinning, and it's such a huge mass that maybe
Is it that?
like the one on the farthest left there. That's the best example I have.
This one?
What's the name of it?
This is
Oh, they literally call it a skate tool, but there's a different name for it. But
T-tool?
A T-tool, yeah, T-tool, that.
You are.
But
Are you talking about how the polar? Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
there's
that's
a theory.
Okay, so I've heard of that before, and I tried to go to the tree because they were saying that at one time the North Pole was in Wisconsin, and then North Pole was in the Caspian Sea, which is crazy, and they says so that the Earth spins, but the top eventually it switches and it keeps spinning. The whole thing changes.
And like I was really like of the mind of like, no, the center of mass is too close to the center of the Earth for it to do something like that. But then there's a podcast I was watching. I think it might have been a Tim Pool like culture war episode type dealio where they go into like other non-political topic type stuff,
crazy stuff. Yeah.
But they said this guy was saying like they found like mammoths in a spot where it's like it's not cold anymore.
Right.
But they had found it where it had like food in its stomach that was flash frozen.
Okay, I think there's some truth to that, but this is like crazy woo-woo talk. And this goes into the idea that ancient civilizations, right? There's a connection to the Incan pyramids, Inca, Egypt, Easter Island, and someplace in Thailand. That's where the equator was, and it changed. And so they're all lined up perfectly. Why? And that's what they're saying. And the only thing they say is because the poles tilt a different way. It's not that the Earth is spinning, but the mantle keeps moving, and you have flash floods and earthquakes and shit, and it just screws up civilization. It's almost kind of like the third body problem.
Yeah, 3 body. Yep.
The 3 body problem from that sci-fi movie.
I still need to watch it.
It's not that great. It's okay, but the alien part's all really cool. I like the alien parts. It's really neat.
Yep.
So I'm kind of that. No one's really talking about that kind of stuff because it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so far out there. It's like
It's
good luck
far out.
convincing people of that.
They're not. Yeah,
I will
but-
lend it some credence though, just based off of that flash freezing thing.
Yeah.
Like, how do you explain that?
All right.
And also glaciers being where they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's because it takes so long for that amount of like frozen water to actually thaw out.
Because according to them, they're saying that Antarctica was actually in the tropics. So Antarctica might have some like buildings there that are buried under like mountains.
Yeah, you got to
miles
think of like
snow.
how deep into the permafrost until we find like vegetation from like
Yeah.
not billions, but like millions of years ago.
I know. That's a I forget what they call that particular because the idea they're saying now is that this ancient civilization, I'll entertain the idea, but I'm not really sure. I'm not convinced of it in the haplogroup tree. I'm not convinced of where it's coming from because I can say we were talking about last time. It was haplogroup E that came back to Africa. Those are the ones who built the pyramids. Those are the Egyptians. Haplogroup E. But as far as like what haplogroup was the ancient, like the Atlanteans, I don't know. I don't know where that fits in. So that's why I'm starting up from the beginning and keep going a little one by one and see like where could it possibly happen. It had to happen, in the 400,000 years of Homo sapiens that this happened. But where, I don't know. The Earth tilting too, moving, that's a weird one too. I don't know, man. And that's a really crazy one.
We
But
already know the poles shift.
Yeah,
So-
the magnetic pole shifts,
That's what I meant.
but the poles literally shift over too, and it keeps moving. Like that's a weird one, dude. That's a really weird one.
My only question is just like the magnetic poles. Would that have any not correlation, like any effect on the regular poles, like north and south?
No, because the poles they still spin where they're at, but the magnetic pole that's because of the mantle. That's because of
The core and
the
all
core.
That, yeah.
That's because of that.
The giant lattice structure that could be there shifting.
Yeah, that's a real strange one because no one. It's so far out there. But that story that came from supposedly supposed to be some CIA document, or whatever, that they erased or got rid of because it was too on the point or something. That's a what the hell is? I'm starting to notice a lot more UFO shit. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as like on TV and everything, on the YouTube and everything.
That could be Project Bluebeam.
That's what I'm
gearing
yeah.
us up for that.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking. Like like when we saw, I showed you, the one News Nation interviewed that guy who was showing footage of a camera looking down.
Recreation.
The recreation was funny. There's an egg that's being basically it's supposed to be an alien craft. It looks like an egg, straight up like an egg. And they're picking it up and they're dropping it down. And somebody said, "Well, I have a recreation of that." All they did was they got an egg and they put
tape measure.
some tape measure and had a green carpet, and then just basically did the same thing.
It was a filter. It was a green filter. It was supposed to look
to
like,
make it look?
Yeah, to make it look like that.
like a green carpet. But it was really funny. So like that, if that's real, people are making fun of it because they don't believe it's real. Because we're so if we were shown real footage of an alien, you're like, yeah, whatever, dude. We're not even going to care because we're not going to believe it. And it's so that what the hell, man? And I don't know, man. I don't know.
It'd be like the movie Signs.
Yeah, they're not intergalactic thugs. That's what they
Well,
were.
the thing is like the aliens in that one, they were easily defeated if you
All
just
they got to
splashed
do
water.
is drink the water.
Yeah,
just
I think
splash
exactly.
the water
It was
on them.
so dumb. Well, that's M.
Hey,
Shyamalan.
it was I will say is a good twist.
Yes. Yeah.
What they twist.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so I watched the Unbreakable, Glass, Split, that whole fucking like not Shia LaBeouf, Jesus, M. Night Shyamalan's
Unbreakable.
Superhero.
Yeah.
I like and I hate it.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's parts of it where I was like, "That's so fucking cool," and then
Yeah.
there's
The
parts.
Guardian. Yeah.
Then there's other parts where it's like, "That's fucking stupid as shit, dude."
No, M. Night Shyamalan is not really that great of a. He's okay.
He
always sticks himself in the movie too.
I'll put him as like the inverse to Tarantino, where it's like,
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
he's
good,
okay.
but it's also bad, but it's good.
I think the only reason why Quentin Tarantino's stuff is pretty good is because of all the foot fetishes he put
I
in.
knew you were going there too. I knew that was where you were going.
That's so you get a good guy with really good movies, foot fetishes. But if you get M. Night Shyamalan,
Armpit fetishes. I don't fucking know.
I don't know. I know, man. Yeah. So that spinning of the Earth, the poles, whatever. That supposedly came out of some article, whatever, and it's like they got rid of it. And there's a book on it or something, and I saw the video, and the video was showing like when it spins, and I was like, wait a minute, okay, that time I looked at the calendar at the tree, and I was like, I don't know, maybe, you know, because I know when humans came into Europe, the ice caps went all the way down to the Alps, and so you couldn't go any further north. So they're hanging around France, hanging around Italy, around there basically. And so when something happened where pole shifted, and now it melted, and we moved north, right?
Yeah, who's to say those ice ages weren't caused by poles just fucking
shifting?
Well,
That's exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
go over here
that's
for a
kind of
second.
weird. That's why it's like maybe there's something to this. But that's a really crazy one. Because the idea of the ancient civilization being destroyed around 12,000, 13,000 years ago is because they're saying that the sun did a pulse, some kind of some kind of pulse, whatever, and not only that, there was an asteroid, there was a comet hitting the Earth at the same time, and that's what destroyed the ancient civilization.
Yeah, that could have blocked out the sun from warming anything, and then they could have just piled up on top of each other.
Yeah, because there definitely is. How the hell do you explain all these pyramid shape around the world? That's one.
Ley lines.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, and that's the equator. That equator is the ley line for all these, because that's really interesting. Is like Egypt, where the pyramids from Egypt are the center of the Earth and the top of the Earth, and so that was always the center, and so that Egypt lines up with like I said before, that's the old equator of the Earth, and that was 13,000 years ago. So the Earth, it shifted, so the poles shifted, not just magnetically, physically, and so that's fucking weird. I was like, what?
We need to get people to Mars or space. We need to just get.
We need to get out.
We need to be.
We need to be multi-planet.
Yeah, multiplanetary.
But dude, how the hell, man? There's no way you're gonna make Mars livable. There's no magnetic field. There's no way to make that happen. You can put all the CO2s in the atmosphere you want. The sun's gonna tear it away. It has to be. It has to be fucking rings. Ring worlds.
If there's a will, there's a way. That's how.
Yeah, and I agree with that too.
So,
But I don't know. What are you gonna say?
it's like Stellars. Like you develop technologies and
Yes,
everything, and you could transform a less habitable planet into a more habitable planet for your species. Yes, I'm aware, but the technology that we don't have that yet, or we don't have the means to do it. Regardless, we're not some sort of like, some sort of like power like the Traveler from Destiny 2. From Destiny and Destiny 2, I should say. My bad. But because that is essentially what that does is it terraforms planets, but it also does things to the to civilizations that it happens to be near. It uplifts them. It puts them into a golden age.
Cosmic bliss.
Yeah.
Cosmic bliss, I guess. Yeah. But you also gotta think about that too. Is like
It's possible.
as soon as the golden age happens, there's a dark age.
Yeah.
That's
after Trump gets out, this is gonna suck.
that's the one thing when I heard him say this is going to
be a golden age.
This is going to be a golden age, and it as soon as I heard that, I'm like, this is going to be fucking terrible. As soon as all the good things are gone, it's just going to go back to the same fucking shit slop that we had before.
Well, that ties into philosophy though too. Where it's like there's going to be bad days, but today was a good day, and now you're dwelling on the bad days already. You're not even enjoying the good days if you're dwelling on the bad all the time.
With the
What do you
technical
guys know
difficulties.
about that preacher guy that had this guy on predicted the assassination attempt? Did you hear about that? So okay, well he got shot at in April, right? Was it April?
It was July. I
July?
think. Yeah.
There was a guy back in March who predicted it,
Well,
and the way he predicted it, this is like months before.
What is this, a live podcast?
No.
Okay.
It was he predicted it.
It's called shotgun method, and there's people who have done this with Twitter, where it's like,
Oh, they changed the date.
it's a no-name account that'll put out like the easiest way I can describe this is like Super Bowl. Okay. First, what you do is you set your account to private. Then you tweet out every single possibility that could happen
and take
to
away-
who's going to
No,
win the Super Bowl.
I don't think it's that.
Then you
I-
delete those tweets until you get the one tweet where it's like predicted it. Look at the date on it, and then you make your account public.
I was suspicious of it too, but the video shows the date.
Okay.
And it shows the guy predicted, and the way he reaches for his ear too, and everything. He goes down. And he did the once that I saw that video, I was like, I think this is a real prediction. This guy really predicted this, and then it happened, and someone found it and put it up there, that kind of thing. And it was like I found the source where the guy came from. The guy's an Asian Christian, right? He's talking. He brought the guy on, and he was basically saying Trump will be attempted assassination. He will kneel for God or something like that, and then the economy is going to take a hit, but after that, it's going to be good. So that's why me and my brother was like, we need to buy as much Bitcoin as possible because
Fuck that! Throw it all on Melania, bro. Throw that on Melania.
Because that's what I think that the economy is going to take a little bit of a bump, a hit, and it's going to get better after that.
Like 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But man, seeing him sign all those things in front of the reporters was really cool to see that. I was like, oh,
and
we were
Peter
there.
Ducey.
When he was signing the Doge department. That was really cool.
Dude, so I had him when we were watching that video. I had him replay because I want to hear a government official say it live.
And
I want him to say it. And then he was like, "This is
Doge.
This is the he's like
First
order.
day, dude.
Doge instantly hits $200 million. Everybody's rich. Economy collapses.
He basically said like this is for the Department of governmental
Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah, there we go. And then he said that, and then he said Doge, and I was like, yes, say
Every
it.
time he says it, the price just
Jumps up. Yeah. I think it's when you. That's what I learned too. Like every time there's an election coming in every 4 years, the economy kind of takes up a standstill.
liquidity markets kind of also cycle around that as well.
Where are we going? Where are we going? But yeah, this.
And I don't know. There's always the chance of the super cycle, which, to be fair, the internet, like when the internet first started up and they got all those tax breaks and all that, and what if crypto is about to enter that? And instead of we get the 4-year cycles, this one ends up being a super cycle that just stretches beyond and just
Talking about Bitcoin?
the mass adoption cycle.
Yeah.
I think that's
What
going to
if?
happen. We definitely believe me and my brothers but we believe or I believe that it's gonna this year is gonna be good for Bitcoin. It will go down again, but
always does.
it gets it goes over that 45-degree angle, but it'll never hit that. When you look at the power flow curve for Bitcoin, it shows it how the red line.
There's always higher lows.
Yeah,
essentially.
but it
like
bounces.
the lowest it goes is always going to be higher than the last low.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And so I explained it to the perfect idea for a chart over time and money is a 45-degree angle, basically, right? And so, but if you look at that one single line, you zoom into that line, and you have a big thick line now, and that red line, Bitcoin will never touch that red line. Now, there's a green line as a medium, and there's a purple line that's the fantasy line. I call it the fantasy line. But what it'll do, it'll jump up and down between that line, and then like, oh, it's going to crash.
Where it's overvalued and
Yes.
it's undervalued, and then that sweet spot in the middle is where the
But
the
where
true
that
valuation.
the one we see is that red line, it has never touched that red line. So that's what we know that it's not going to ever do that. Bitcoin is definitely different from all the other shit coins. It's the Immaculate Conception. That's the first one ever. And they never changed it. And you see a documentary about that? Who possibly the creators of Bitcoin were? But of course, they don't know. They still don't know.
And then there's that guy that comes out and says, I'm the creator. And then
Yeah, bullshit.
fucking Richard Hart comes out and is
Yes.
like, all right, fucking prove it. Sign a block. Prove it.
Yeah.
Because it never did.
No, exactly. So it's awful. It's all, yeah, that guy, Australian dude, no. There's
I don't remember.
a little bunch of losers, but anyway, they still don't know who created it, which is good.
He's either dead or in hiding.
Yeah, and he hasn't sold his original fucking block of coins. He hasn't
It's
sold
like 20% of the total supply.
I know, dude. That's fucking crazy.
The power
Millions.
to collapse
God.
everything.
Yeah.
If they just
That's
market something.
Yes, that's kind of scary too. So I that's why I think Bitcoin, and of course now that they're using Bitcoin as a national reserve now, which is good. That's a good thing because once you start seeing Google and like Amazon, which they are now,
PayPal is like clear back in 2022 was starting to do that.
Yeah.
They're starting to implement like crypto
And,
integration.
but going to Bitcoin, so the reason why I got into it is when I saw the companies that were actually buying Bitcoin, when it came to like say investment companies and like real estate companies are actually buying in Bitcoin or putting the reserve in Bitcoin, that told me right there, is like, yeah, we need to get into this now.
I'm already seeing like, job opportunities are right around the corner if every company starts putting some kind of holding into crypto assets. It's like, oh, I'm going to be rich.
Well, it's a reserve
Because I
that's-
know about this stuff.
that's my experience with it. Is that if I had just instead of using you have to use a bank when you have a business, you have to, but you can always take out all that money and put it in Bitcoin, and you keep track of that. That's what I think is like if you put your
if you have the audit logs of Bitcoin,
Yeah.
essentially you wouldn't even need a bank at that point because you can always account. You can account
Yes.
on internally for everything, and then be like, look, if you want to audit me, it's all on the chain.
It's all exactly, and so that's the reason why like you have to have accounts open, but you can always transfer that stuff out and get Bitcoin and keep track of that, and that's how I'm going to do it to where, like what Michael Saylor does with his company, how he they put their money basically in reserve in Bitcoin. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just a smaller micro version of that, and
Just the shrimp swimming next to the whales.
yeah, yeah, it's I think it's a very good. It's really hard to explain to people like what is Bitcoin. It's a hard thing to do. It's okay they don't understand it, but it's never too late.
Best analogy I'll give is like, so before the railroads existed, you had to use horse-drawn carriages to get anywhere across the West or wherever. And then people started realizing the technology and were like, you know what? I'm throw some money so I can own this stretch of track here.
Yep.
And then that stretch of track became worth even more because of how much usage it's getting. So and we're essentially investing in the railroad that is crypto right now.
Yeah, and that's first you had rivers that people travel along, then you had railroads, and cities moved to locations of road. Like around here, we noticed that, like even down, like for example, down in the valley in South Texas, where once the rail came through in the 1860s, after the Civil War, all these little towns started popping up along that city because it was every 10 miles there'd be another city because there was a stop where they put water into the train pretty much. That's when those started.
Refuel on steam, yep.
And that's where a town started. So if you look at all these towns along the border, they're there because of the track. That's the reason why they're there. And so that's the thing. Then then here in this area, the central U.S., cities moved to where the rail was going, where the whole cities moved and left their churches and left their cemeteries behind. There's some of that. There's evidence of that, right?
That's cool.
And then you have the highways. Now, before the highways came through, you had to zigzag through all these towns, and it took forever to get around.
66,
right?
Yeah.
And so when they were talking about a highway going through your town, no, we want to take it out of town. Like, no, you want it in town because that's a lifeline. If you don't have that two intersections where they come to, you're not gonna. You have a town there. You're not going to have anything if you put it outside the town. You're screwing yourself. Don't do that.
Yeah, if you have to take an exit, it's like only people getting gas are going to pull off if they need it.
But if they see it, they're going to want it, and that's why you have them go through town. And that's it's like here in Austin and San Antonio. Yeah, you want to get around there because there's plenty of shit everywhere. So that's why they put these highways that go around the city. Like the San Antonio has the 410, and they have the 1604. The 410 goes around San Antonio, but you want to get out further to 1604 to go around the whole damn thing because you'll lose like 30 minutes to an hour just traveling through that damn town. It's so crowded. And Austin has never figured it out because they had 35 go right through Austin and they put in 130, but now that's crowded as much too. They didn't make a loop around Austin and they haven't done it yet. So they've only done like half of it, half a moon basically to go around the town. And it's like, God damn. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's the railroad is the highway now. And then what is the highway? The highway is pretty much it, unless they start flying, like Jetsons or something. That's later on. But yeah, so then money, like what is money? What is Bitcoin? That's what that is. It's basically, it's gold 2.0. And it's really hard to get people to understand that. Well, it's not real. It's not real. It's like, really? When you talk to somebody on the phone, is that real? You're looking at porn on the phone, is it real?
It's real to me.
Yeah, it's real to me. Maybe, you're looking at pictures. Is it real? Is email real? Are games real? This guy fucking lives. Is the games real to him?
For sake of this argument, no, they're not real.
That's the same. So yeah, it's really hard to explain Bitcoin to people because they don't really. It's a new technology. In the same way as like genealogy. Genealogy, the new technology was DNA, and people are like, "You're not related to me," that kind of shit.
We're all related. We're all cousin fuckers.
I'm not black. I'm not Jewish. Yes, you are.
You are now.
You are now. Well, like Pocahontas, no. She is not Indian. She is not. If you don't have 1%, if it's an Ancestry DNA, if you don't have 1%, you're not that. You're not that people, man. You're not that.
Elizabeth Warren.
What? 2 hours? We're done.
You done? So is this it?
Yeah, I think it's it. Yeah.
Is it gamer time? All right.
Wait. Hold on.
Anything to shout out before we do that? Anything to shout out?
I love and hate you, Helldivers community. Love and hate you.
Hey, keep fighting the bugs. Keep fighting the good fight.
You know, yeah, keep fighting them. We need more oil.
Listen, I got